more. Praying you just walk back through that door and tell me that I was only dreaming. You're not really gone as long as I believe. There will be another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight. Always made my troubles feel so small, and you were always there to catch me when I'd fall. In a world where heroes come and go, where God just took the only one I know. So I'll hold you as close as I can, longing for the day when I see your face again. But until then, God must need another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight. Singing hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight.
All right, everybody, how y'all doing tonight? Like I said, tonight I'm going to play some audio tapes tonight to prove that, they all knew what they were doing as far as law enforcement and how they treat me. You can hear how they try to change subjects and stuff and everything in this. Like I said, my main thing is to get my daughter's story out there. I appreciate all y'all that shared this. Like I said, there's some pretty good audio here that you guys are going to hear tonight. And we're going to see what we can do to further my daughter's case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start. I'm going to see here. Let's start with Jesse Weed here. This is back in 2013. This is when I was letting him know that, I don't have an advocate or anything. Never had an advocate ever. Since my daughter's homicide. Everybody else has had an advocate. when my daughter died, pretty much nobody even came to my house to ask anything or if I needed anything. My family needed anything other than friends. But no advocates ever came to my home and asked me for, anything. If my boys needed anything. But, you go on and you see where they post all the time, about being there for the victim. And like I said, nobody came to me, but an awful lot of people went to her. And it's sad because now, as the truth is unfolding and coming out, all these people that helped her, all these people that gave her, I want to say, if I remember right, they said something close to between I'm going to say between $30,000 and $40,000 is what she collected from different agencies. The VFW gave her money. Other people wrote her personal checks. That ain't even including the money that she got from bank account that was opened up in Jeffersonville that suspiciously closed, and they said they never heard of my daughter's having a bank account there. But we all know that there was one there. So, I feel sorry for all those that donated and everything to her. Because, of course, she played the victim card. But obviously, as you heard the other night on tape where she was swimming in a swimming pool and having a good old time after my daughter's death. So we're going to go ahead and play this one. I hope you guys can hear Jesse in this. This is the prosecutor. Like I said, some parts he's quiet. He kind of whispers. And he don't really say much that you can actually hear. I'm hoping we can all hear it. So, if somebody would please give me a thumbs up to let me know if you can hear the audio real good. Not me, because trust me, y'all can hear my mouth. But if you can hear the other person I am talking to.
You don't talk that loud. I'd like to know who gave them money. Okay, but you just moment, I don't mean to. Oh, that's fine. Say something. You don't talk that loud. I'd like to know who gave them money. Okay, but you just moment, I don't mean to. Oh, that's fine. Services, and I talked to him the first time out of my house, and then the second time I talked to him was at Children's Services, and we went over stuff. I asked him, he said to give him some time to see if he can find out if anything with my children that what happened to my kids or anything, if any caseworkers went out and did a whatever they call it, went out and checked on that, made sure if it was true or what happened or anything like that. He said nope. He said that there was nothing on any of my kids that where it came in to their office that, something, like my boys, William Potter, Earl Potter, doing some nasty stuff to my boys and stuff. That was never, ever investigated. And And the bad part of it is, it wasn't me. It's not like I went to them and said, hey, this is what's going on. This is Paint Valley. Sent referrals over. Nobody did any follow-ups. This is 7 medical doctors at Fayette County Hospital that was saying, look, abuse was going on. This is what's happening to these kids. You need to go out and follow up. No follow-ups. So I asked Dusty Root straight up forward. I said, how do you feel about this? Why do you think what happened to me happened to me? And he said the one person that he knows of that's a caseworker that he believed was biased. It was because I'm Donald Branham, and pretty much that's how it went. Second one, he can't talk for them, and that's what he said. He did apologize plenty of times to me. I'm sorry. But you know what? I'm sorry is not going to bring Mackenzie back.
Right.
But if Children's Services would have went out and did this investigation on William Potter, Earl Potter, Mary Ann not getting any medical treatment when the kids were getting hurt in her care and stuff, guess where Mackenzie would have been? In my care. I would not have had my back against the wall. I did not have had to make decisions because courts would have made the decisions. And my daughter would be probably alive today. I will say probably alive. So my thing is, I'm very upset because, like I said, how they went all these years and got away with no one seeing why, here's a referral from Paint Valley. Why didn't anybody go and investigate this? Why didn't anybody go check this out? I've got notes from Children's Services saying, well, William went to Kentucky, so we didn't get to talk to William, but we went ahead and told Mary Ann to tell William that he needed to quit being so rough with the kids. Really? That's how you handle them? First of all, that's his sister. She ain't got no say. Why didn't they go to the parents? William was 15 years old. He was hurting children. Guess what? William felt a lie to take the test. Guess what? William's also a person of interest in Mackenzie's death. But this is the same boy that was making my kids suck their chest. He was the same one that grabbed my son by the throat and was slamming him to the floor so bad that he hurt Harrison. This is the same boy that picked up my one son, threw him into a fireplace, and got burned. It's awful funny. William's name is in a lot of the incidents, but now he's also in my daughter's death. Now, I can understand Children's Services maybe, forgot, what I'm saying, to one, but when there's 4 incidents with a child, and nobody goes out and talks to these parents, and nobody goes out and talks to this child, and he lived right here, you know what I'm saying? It's not like he went to Kentucky and was living there. He was coming back. Dusty Root, I asked him, I said, what's your length on a case? And he said 30 days. They have 30 days to find that person and talk to them. So he went through the files, and he said, well, she closed it in 2 weeks. 2 weeks she closed that case. Never spoke to that boy. Maybe that boy needed psychiatrist help, which would have maybe Mackenzie be alive today. I know everyone keeps saying I'm right and everyone keeps saying I'm sorry, but it's not going to bring my daughter back.
I guess I don't know.
And then,
Nothing.
What upsets me the most is this is in my files. Okay? These are pictures of a kid. Okay? I want you to look at this kid right here. Okay? This is my son Douglas. Okay? That's my son Douglas. There's Mackenzie. There's Harrison. This is not my kid. This is not my kid. And there's a report where I hit this kid in the mouth that they're saying was Douglas and split his lip. If you look at that child, that is not a split lip. That is a clipped lip. Vernon Stanford agreed to it. Dusty Ruth agreed to it. But these are in my file saying I did this to a child that ain't even my child. Never seen this kid in my entire life. And I asked Dusty Ruth, I said, well, here's my problem. I said, And you can tell that's a little girl. That ain't even a boy.
No, I agree. That's a girl.
I said, now here's my problem. You get a caseworker, somebody calls in on me. They go through my file and they see these pictures. And then they read the notes and saying that I beat this kid. Guess what? I've already been judged before a caseworker even comes to see me.
I agree. I agree.
All right. So what that is as you all remember, I told you about there was some photographs that come up missing out of my stuff when the Fayette County Sheriff's Office was going through my my stuff before they're not allowed anymore. And what it was the fire marshal had retrieved all case files from Children's Services and gave me copies of those case files. And when I was going through the case files, there was a picture of a child that had a clip lip. And you can see I was showing him the pictures. This is the prosecutor. And he even said that was a little girl. But in my notes, it said it's my son Douglas and that I had punched him in the mouth and split his lip. And these caseworkers up here at Children's Services took this photograph from the mother, put it in my file, and wrote notes saying that I hit my son in the mouth. And then when you look at the photographs, it's a little girl. And what she tried to do was she tried to blacken out the background of it to make the hair disappear. And it was a little girl. But they left it in my file. So that way, if anybody calls on me and then the caseworker goes and they pull my file and they look through my file, here they see where to them they think I'm an abusive guy towards kids. And this is during my custody hearings. And the whole time that was sat in that file. Never was brought to court, because if it had been brought to court, then I'd have been able to look at it since I was representing myself, and I would have been able to say, that ain't my kid. Never saw this kid in my entire life. So when they investigated it, they found out later on, it was the mother had went on a Google site of children with a clip lip and downloaded a photograph of a little girl, but her facial wise looked like my son. And right here, the prosecutor agreed when I showed him the photographs that that was a girl, that wasn't my son, and that it wasn't, that if, and he agreed that if somebody would have looked at it, I'd have been already judged. And he agreed. He said, yeah, you would have been judged. I agree. This is Fayette County for you right here.
I mean, I just don't understand, and I've asked this to you, just like I'm going to ask you, why am I being treated so differently? Because just like crime victim witness, Nikki called me a convicted felon, that Stephanie called me a convicted felon, they couldn't help me, got me a lawyer one day before I go to court, and that lawyer had to withdraw my case because he didn't even have time to do anything. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? Why are these agencies? Because I've already talked to Vernon, and like I told Vernon, you guys can run around here and try to cover up stuff, but I've already got all the evidence. The fire marshal gave it to me. But the bottom line is, there is somebody out there who will listen. There is somebody out there who wants to hear this story. Jerry Ann Corey. Kelly Satchel, who's no longer there. Mike Montgomery, who is no longer there. Rick Hausman, who is no longer there. Like Dusty Root said, that's the problem. They're no longer there. But it doesn't still not count for what they did. Bottom line is, at the time my children were getting hurt and at the time of Mackenzie's death, they were employees there. They were not doing their job. Which then, you go up the ladder, you know what I'm saying? Because how can there not be any reports? I mean, there's reports even that they went out and did home inspections, and to speak with Kenny Mossbarger, he wasn't there, and that was how they ended it. How do you end something like that? But then there's a police report that if I'd have known years ago that he beat a 2-year-old and did jail time for it, was charged for it, was told to leave the state of South Dakota and never return, guess where my daughter wouldn't be? She would have never been in that home. Because Fayette County would have been able to walk in that courtroom across the street and say, no way. These kids are not going into that home. It is unsafe for those children to be in that home. But there is no one ever that put it in anywhere that it was unsafe. They all said, oh, it's a dad and mom going through a divorce. They're just trying to dig up dirt. Okay, I can understand that if the reports were coming from me. But how do you excuse 7 licensed medical doctors? How do you excuse a licensed psychologist at Paint Valley? How do you excuse the visitation center counselor that sent over pictures of my son with bruises saying William did this, and Jerry Ann Corey saying, well, I couldn't talk to William, he was in Kentucky, but I talked to the mother of Harrison and told her to tell William quit being so rough. That is not how you deal with a kid. When a child has bruises, 3 bruises, 2 on his chest, 1 on his arm, and you're just going to say, nah, we'll tell the sister. Sister ain't, what she got control of? She's a sister. He said, bottom line is, here's what he said about as far as William and Earl on the gross sexual part. Statute of limitation. Ran out.
What happened with
2005.
Yeah.
My daughter, actually happened around in December. A lot of these incidents.
See right there, this is back, like I said, this is back in 2013. And I was talking about the gross sexual incomposition, and Vernon Stanford told me that statute of limitation had ran out. Prosecutor agreed. Then I find out there is no statute of limitation on molestation, rape. Any child at any age can come out and tell what happened to them, and who did it to them. So right there, the prosecutor lying to me. Right there, the sheriff's office is lying to me and telling me that the statute of limitation. And that's what I heard a lot through all these years was that, the statute of limitation ran out. Statute of limitation ran out. And I'm so sick and tired of the statute of limitation because, like I said, on a homicide, on a rape, there shouldn't be no statute of limitation. That's how I feel.
Happened in 2005 in October, November, and December. My daughter died 5 months later in April of 2006. If these people would have done their job, instead of looking at me and saying, oh, it's Donald Branham, guess what? My daughter would be here today. Now, my next question, like I told Vernon, and Vernon asked me, how do you put a price on a child that's no longer here? You can't. You can't. I couldn't come in here and say, oh, I want $25 million because you can't. It's my kid. You really can't. I'd rather have her than I would. But do I want to make sure this never happens again? You better believe it. And, and the bad part of it is you apologize for what crime victims did that day to me. But you're not the one that called it to me. Dusty Ruth apologized, but Dusty Ruth ain't the one that did it. So, well, I know that you're their attorney.
Right. By statute, not by choice.
Right. And I know, but if I did go after them, I know you can't represent them because you're also on Mackenzie's case, which comes before this a civil matter.
Right.
A homicide matter would come before that. I'm hoping that there's a way that you might be able to do whatever you can do that we can meet with the right people or whatever. Because my other choice is, which I've already got people, I've got lawyers that'll jump on it in a heartbeat. I mean, come on, it's a win situation here. And I mean, it's a closed case. I've got evidence. They don't. I've got Channel 6 on your side that wants to get involved. But at first, like I've told you before, I wasn't about the money. But the way this town has done me, and Vernon agreed, and there's even his deputy, Steagles, that put his nose where it shouldn't have been. But the thing of it is, I think my family, my boys, my daughter, my other son, my oldest daughter, I believe they earn a compensation of this, out of this, including myself. I mean, all the hard work I've done, all the time I've done, all the crap I've put up with in this town, when I've asked for help and didn't get help, you know, just like the pamphlet that you guys have printed at Crime Victim Witness. It says that you guys will help every victim. Murder cases, homicide cases, domestic violence, whatever. Not one person since my daughter's death has anybody from crime victims come to my home and asked for anything they could do for me or my children. You might not like me, but did my kids do anything to anybody? I mean, don't print something on a pamphlet and say you do this and go and stand in these places and do this big speech of, hey, we help victims, and because I am a victim. I lost my child to a murder. And not one time has anybody come to my home and knocked on my door and said, hey, this is what we need to do for you. This is what we can do for you. This is, you know, can we do this? Instead, I go and I'm being called a convicted felon with no felonies. Your opinion.
My opinion is the what? I can't tell you what to do.
Right, I know that.
I mean, what I'm gonna do is I'll try to catch up with Dusty Ruth as soon as I can, and talk to the commissioners about this issue. I mean, that's all I can do.
Right.
I mean, they're not. I don't have if there's a problem. So, you know, I don't have any settlement authority.
Oh no, I know that. I know that. What I come up with it'll be out of what I come up with or what my attorneys come up with. But I mean, I don't want it to go to that far. As I'd sue for millions of dollars and put Fayette County in a bind.
Right.
I'm not about that. I'd rather see changes. First of all, I'd rather people learn from this. What happened to Mackenzie, and that the next time a man or woman comes into an office, no matter what their background is, you still do your job. Because it should be about the children, not about the parent. And that's my main thing. But do I want compensation out of this? Yeah, I think I deserve it. You know, baby, I'm just being honest with you. I've always told you, I'll come straight to your face and I'll tell you exactly how I feel and what I think. But like I told Vernon Stanford, if the media, I take this to the media, it ain't going to be good for Fayette County. And I guarantee you, there's people in Columbus, including Mr. DeWine, that would love to come down to Fayette County and probably shut down that whole entire building. I mean, they're in trouble as it is with other issues. You know, why throw one more on the fire? You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, there is families here that need that services. But the right way. Just like crime victims, I believe in what they do. But, man, crime victims is not just for women. I agree. And that's what they need to learn. It's not a woman's place. It's a person's place, a man or a woman. Just because I don't walk in here with tears in my eyes doesn't.
Alright, the tape started messing up there at the end because, like I said, I played these so many times that, you know, they're starting to wear out. That's why now I'm starting to download everything on USB drives so that this don't happen. But like I said, I was trying to tell him, you know, Crime Victim Witness, Children's Services, all these places, man, are for victims. And that's what they say they represent. But then, you know, the biggest heartache of this is, like I said, nobody wanted to hear me. Nobody wanted to hear what I had to say. Nobody gave a damn to that. You know, I was out here trying to find out what happened to my little girl. All they wanted to do is run me out of their office. And that is so disrespect. And like I was telling the prosecutor there, you know, it don't matter if you're a man or a woman. If you go into a facility that represents victim, doesn't say I represent woman, it doesn't say I represent men, it says victims. You should be able and should be treated equally and with the same respect. They didn't want to do that. They could care less. And that's, the prosecutors are the ones that's in charge of crime victim witness. And like I said, they're the ones that try to say I had a felony. Then they found out I didn't have a felony. But then they still didn't even help me. They didn't even want to go to court with me, no nothing. And that's what their job is. That's their job title. And because I call them out on this stuff, and because I prove my point to people that this is what's going on, now they're pissed at me. Now they don't want to, they ain't allowed to talk to me. You know, Vernon's orders, none of them's allowed to speak to me, none of them's allowed to talk to me, you know, because like I told him, if I catch you lying to me, I'm going to expose you. And I meant it. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go on to, this one's Children's Services. This is when now I meet the guy at Children's Services before I met with Jesse. And this is what we discussed.
August the 21st at 1:30 p.m. We are discussing documents that he had me copy for him for Susan Wolf, and discuss the issues that Susan Wolf had faxed over to Children's Services in 2004 and 2005. Go, Seth. Go. Okay. And this one, see, this is what Harrison wrote. This is his papa, which was Earl Potter, put his butt in their face. But there's another one, and Susan Wolf couldn't find it. And it's about where he put also his genitals, you know what I'm saying, and his butt in their face, in the kid's face. Okay. Then as you go down here through these, see what or I can just show you. I can discuss it. And
She said in her brother's face?
Yeah.
Which brother was it?
Lee Douglas. Okay. But see, here, like this one here. See, this is a record time of day. Contacted Susan Wolf, PhD. Worried about kids, visitation, talk to kids with Children's Services. Okay, it says crisis intervention, treatment.
Yeah, we'll follow up with
Children's Services.
Okay.
But see, Susan Wolf followed up with Children's Services, but nobody followed up with what was going on. See, here's another one. Mackenzie Branham in 3rd grade at Eastside School, Miss Miller's mom, Kenny, my mom's boyfriend, went to the campground. Jennifer, her sister, and brothers don't like Kenny, threatens to whoop us. Before we left, spanked her, so he spanked Mackenzie. No other problems with Kenny. Kenny broke the toilet. Campground, they're there every weekend. Used bathroom at campground. Mackenzie says, enough to eat. Wait until went home. Mom is saying they have to love Kenny to get clothes. In other words, Marianne was telling them they had to tell that man they loved her or they didn't get any clothes. And my biggest, like here, see, this was faxed to you guys here at Fayette County Children's Services. See, this is a release form. See, this is a release form. This is me signing a release form. Donald Branham, 92605. So that way she can send anything to you guys. Okay, right here.
What is this 05 here?
Yeah, 05. Before Mackenzie. But look at here. Had been crying, wanting to go to Aaliyah's house. Mom said no. Kenny then dragged her into a bedroom and covered her mouth. Kenny whooped my brothers before. Mackenzie likes to play with Potter. This is Mackenzie talking. William Potter likes to suck his chest. Pushed your brother into a fireplace, Douglas. 12-inch burn on his back. Douglas told it, William makes both brothers suck their chest. William tells her to do it, but she doesn't. William, something, her brother, their chest.
Looks like made her
brother suck their chest, each other's chest, all the time. See, this is my concern. Now, let me tell you something. Here's your two caseworkers that were handling this back in this years. Kelly Satchel, Jerry Ann McCoy. My question is, Dusty, why didn't they ever call the sheriff department with this sexual stuff going on? And they knew about it was going on because it's in their reports. But their reports are, and this is what upsets me, Dad's going through a custody battle. They're both trying to dig dirt up on each other. This ain't dirt. This is my kids telling a licensed psychologist what's going on. I'm not even in that room. See, right here's one of the things. Here. See, return form to Jerry Ann Corey. This is what was, sent. Susan Wolf, PhD psychologist, date 11/12/04. Return form 2, Jerry A. Corey. That's who was involved. But see, here's more. William Potter frequently comes to the house. Has been in the house together. He's mean. Whoops you. Says he did nothing to get whooped. Anything else? This is her notes.
Yeah.
Dad's house, plays games with me, plays with sister. Tour didn't work. Had to go outside to pee. Kenny, how do you get along? Not fine with him. Something yelling. Always yelling or something yelling. Says he didn't take a shower or a bath. Douglas, 5 years old. They're at a campground. And this is where your staff went out to investigate where they were staying at. Okay? Because that's in the report. They didn't find nothing wrong, but here's what they're telling Susan Wolf. Likes to stay home. Kenny, something to Kenzie, because Kenzie he took a shower. See, it almost sounds like Kenny took a shower with her, with Mackenzie. Closed Mackenzie. Mackenzie, because Kenzie would something, and then it says here, he took a shower. Mom, doing okay. Would that be chased? Chase Kenzie, because Kenzie would something. Let's go. That almost looks like cars. Cars or cab. Wrecked go-kart. Because Kenzie wrecked go-karts. So Kenny closed Kenzie, chased Kenzie because Kenzie wrecked. I'd say that's go-kart. Something go-kart. He took a shower. Here's another one right here. Dying with family concerns regarding his children's situation during visitation. Trying to deal with it on his own. Parent has been in contact with Children's Services. Follow-up therapy.
Did Susan testify at any of the hearings?
No, not yet.
I mean, back when...
No, because it went to your agency, and then from your agency, it didn't go nowhere. In other words, no sheriffs were called, nobody went to court on any of this that was going on with these children.
When you guys were in court,
right now, she's dealing with everything. We're still seeing her right now again with the boys, and she's now writing letters to a judge, letting her know what's going on during the sessions, because right now it's the two boys and the mom. Kenny's not allowed around the boys at all. Right. They've already proved that.
About back then, when this was going on, when she was...
No, never went to Judge Hammond's.
Why didn't she?
I don't know. I don't know that question yet.
Because, I mean, if she had all this information...
Well, she said she sent it, which it shows. She sent it to right here. Fax transmission, right there. Donald Branham asked me to do a referring, in this case, referral letter to you. Release, find attached a fax I had sent to Rick Hausman outlining the concerns regarding abuse. But nothing was done. And here's the letter. There is a letter. There is a letter in here. You got the letter. There's a letter in here. We can find it. That was to Rick Hausman. This one's actually... There's a letter to Rick Hausman. See right here. Here's the fax to him. Deliver this to Rick Hausman. Company location, Children's Services, 335-3591, whatever. Abuse report. Okay? Now, can you find the letter? I'll show you.
Do you know what was sent?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find the letter. Because I know I made a copy of it and a copy for you. I can just find it in here. See, this one's delivered this to Dusty Ruth, right? Children's Services. And that was to tell you that she had already no file to Rick Hausman and never got anything back on why.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out is what was sent.
Okay, I'm trying to find it. It's addressed to Rick Hausman.
The letter is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. If I can just find it. It looks like a paragraph like this. It's like a big paragraph, and it says his name on it, and then what her concerns were. It might be in that pile you got. Now, you see it here.
Yeah. There, so delivered to Rick Hausman.
No, that's the delivery one. See if you can find it here. I know it as soon as I see it. Like it. Dear Mr. Rick Hausman, there it is.
I've got to it.
There it is. And this is Mackenzie talking to her. Narrative dealing with family concerns. We've notified Children's Services. See, here's another one. This one says your name delivered this to Dusty Ruth. Okay, it says referral letter to release. Okay, then it says down here, concerns because since this report was made, okay, it says his daughter Mackenzie indicated she heard her mother say she was going to kill herself, and then later said she admitted it was just a joke.
Says number of pages 3. You know what 3 that would be?
No, they're all in there. I mean, I didn't put them all together.
Well, let me go back and check this stuff.
My main concern is all these letters were sent from a licensed psychologist to Mike Montgomery, Rick Hausman, not yours. Rick Hausman, Mike Montgomery, Kelly Satchel, and Jerry Ann McCoy. But there's no report from your agency to the sheriff's office saying, look, we need William picked up, we need Earl Potter picked up, we've got a child in here saying that this is what's going on sexually to them. We need to find out what's going on. There was nothing. Why?
That I don't know, because I'd have to back and look in the records, see what these guys did. And the problem is, I mean, none of them's there anymore for me to ask.
Right.
So,
Right.
unless it's in the record, I don't have any way of finding
But see, that's the thing. There ain't nothing in the records. Because I've got everything you guys got.
If that's the case, I mean, I don't have any way of finding out, what they did or what they didn't do, or
the funny part is, like, was Mike Montgomery. There's reports, even, he went out and supposedly, they even say in the police report, I don't have that report, but there's a police report where they say we notified Children's Services, Mike Montgomery's coming out to do a follow-up. But then there's no report from your agency where he did the follow-up. And this is when a time when Mackenzie was beat from head to toe, and they in the police department took pictures. There's no pictures.
Yeah, I remember.
There's no pictures found. There's no report made. You got Rick Hausman, who never followed up with Susan Wolf. I mean, you know what I'm saying? This was serious stuff going on to my children before Mackenzie died. A couple of these incidents are just within months before it's 2006 and she died. She died in April, or was murdered in April. And these are like in December of 05. So it's almost, you know what I'm saying, close to even the time that she died. But then there's no fault. All I've got is Kelly Satchel saying in her note, they're in a custody battle. They're trying to dig up dirt on each other. I've got Corey Ann McCoy saying it's Mr. Branham's fault. He's just harassing the mother. How? How are you harassing somebody? If somebody was doing something to your child, how's that harassing? How is that digging up dirt? That's somebody doing sexually stuff to my children. I have every right as a parent to be upset what's going on with my children. You know? But then all these times that we were going to that court over here in Fayette County, I didn't see Kelly Satchel come in there. I didn't see Jerry Ann McCoy come in there. Didn't see Mike Montgomery come in there with hey, this is what we know is going on. No, I got reports where they say, it's just a custody battle.
I know.
And what's upsetting is your agency, Children's Services Agency, is to protect the children.
Right.
It doesn't matter what the mom is doing, what the dad's doing. It's about the children.
Right.
Point blank. If you feel that those kids or something's going on, then you guys deal with it.
Yeah.
Okay? You know as well as I know, you've been out of my house a ton of times in the beginning. That's how we met. Over just because someone called in and said I didn't have food in my cabinets, or I didn't have this, or I didn't have that.
Right.
Which was the Potters playing their games where they were, when they got mad at each other, they would call you guys on each other. You know that and I know that. But the thing of it is, when there was concerns going on with my children, and you're talking about letters coming from a licensed facility saying, look, you need to check into this. Look, you need to see what's going on here. But then there's nothing. There's no checking. There's no, right. Because I know they didn't go out and get Earl Potter and bring him in and ask him, why are you sticking your stuff in these kids' face?
Yeah.
We know that, because if that was true, there would have been a sexual, whatever you call that, report about it, like there was against Chris West. There's nothing about William and him sucking on my kids' chest and making them suck each other. There's nothing. There's nothing. But for the sheriff department to know, your agency's got to notify them.
Yeah. Unless the mental health would. It's got to be one or the other.
So, that's what I was trying to talk to you about a few months ago about, I want to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
This does not happen to another kid.
Yeah.
This does not happen to another single parent because they come in and they file something. There's a difference. If you go back through the files and you see what I ever filed on somebody, pretty much it's the true story of what's going on compared to what's been filed on me, where it's been stupid. remember when the dog attack happened?
Yeah.
3 days later, you get a phone call saying, I had a puppy that attacked Harrison.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the... Well,
all right, you guys. So that's me talking to the supervisor of children's services, which today he's no longer there. But that's me talking to supervisor. And, you know, they sit there and they agree and they agree and they agree. Because, I mean, how can't you not agree? I mean, I got the paperwork right in front of them. This is the report that was sent to them. And you can see right there at the top, it says South of Paint Valley Mental Health Center. And there's that Susan Wolf right there, licensed psychologist. And here's all these reports. These are all the reports right here that were sent to them, to Children's Services, and not on one of these reports did they follow up. And the dates are 04, 05 dates on here. There's an 05, November 15th, 2005. My daughter was murdered in 2006 of April. And here's my daughter pleading to a licensed psychologist saying that her uncle was doing this stuff to her. Her grandfather was doing this stuff to her. And not one time were they ever investigated or brought in. Not one time. And these are referrals. These are referrals sent to their agency, to Children's Services. And he's sitting there reading them. And he knows it was sent to him. He even signed one of the referrals that he received it. You know, and that's why he couldn't answer nothing, because I'm sitting there, you know, like I said, with the information right in front of him, and how can you deny it? It's your handwriting. It's your, you know, it's your signature on there saying, yeah, I received this, but no, I didn't do anything about it. I mean, it's sickening that my child, within 5 months of her being murdered and raped, she was crying out to this facility that sent referrals to Fayette County. And I have somewhere, I have to find them, but I have all the sheriff reports where they were called to the hospital, where they were called, you know, every time. And then they sent, and then every one of the sheriff's reports, they sent the referral from the hospital where they went out to the hospital. They sent it to Children's Services. So not only do you have a licensed mental health center sending stuff to Children's Services, stating what is going on with my kids while they're in the care of the mother, but they all ignore it. Every single person ignored it. And I'm going to read you one of the letters right here. This is one of the letters right here. Dear Mr. Rick Hausman, in regards to Mackenzie Branham, daughter of Donald Branham of 657 Petticourt Avenue, Washington Courthouse, Ohio 43160. Their phone number is, he is concerned that William Potter, age 15, a relative, is not conducting himself properly around his children. In talking to Mackenzie and inquiring about William, she has told me on 6/24/04 that William had made both of her brothers suck their chests. William tells her to do this as well, but she does not. Further, Mackenzie believes that William had pushed her brother Douglas into a fireplace. Their father showed me a scar on Douglas's back, allegedly due to this incident. Mackenzie has told me that her mother's boyfriend dragged her into a bedroom. Their father is concerned, and these events have occurred during their visitation with their mother. Apparently, the father has discussed this situation with Children's Services, Mike Montgomery of your agency, and nothing came back. Nothing came back. So, like I said, right there, my daughter was crying for help. And the people that are supposed to protect our children, which is CPS, should have followed up on every referral that was sent from a licensed psychologist. Should have followed up on every report that was sent from the sheriff's office. But the sheriff's office, when they got the referrals from Paint Valley of sexual or gross sexual imposition or rape, they should have went out and made an arrest. They should have done an arrest. They should have had an investigation done. But they failed to do it. Instead, they sent it to Children's Services. And then through Children's Services, nothing was ever done. And 5 months later, my daughter is murdered. And during that murder investigation, I find out that my daughter was raped. And the only reason I feel that Fayette County Sheriff's Office would have kept the rape from going in the newspaper and everything was because of what would have been coming out through the investigation, that these children already were being touched and raped before my daughter was murdered. With these allegations, and they already had these. These were asked, I think, in 2000. I want to say 2013 is when I was asked to go get this paperwork. The fire marshal requested me to get them, and that's the whole thing. Like I said, what the hell did Fayette County do? What investigation did they do? They didn't do anything, because if they would have done their investigation, the boyfriend alone, they would have found out that he had already hurt other children that weren't his kids. They'd already found out that he beat a 2-year-old in South Dakota. They would have found out that he was putting his hand over my daughter's mouth and dragging her into her bedroom. They would have found out that he was locking her in closets to the point that she was screaming so bad that the next day when she went to school, the teachers said that she didn't have no voice. They would have investigated him hanging my kids on hooks in the kitchen. And I have that tape, and as soon as I can find it, because like I said, there's so much stuff here that I've collected and investigated, but I have a tape where the mother actually admits, laughing, and admits of him hanging my kids on hooks in the kitchen. But then we got locking her in the bedroom with padlocks. We got beating her all the time. And then not only that, if you heard it in there, like I said, how in the hell, Lauren, I'm glad you're on there because I'm getting ready to play the sheriff one that we discussed, but I want you to hear it first. But the thing of it is, this man and this woman told my children that they had to give him hugs and tell him they loved him and give him kisses, or they weren't going to get no food, or they weren't going to get no clothes. Are you fucking kidding me? And Children's Services knows this is going on, that she's forcing my children to love a guy that they don't have no right to love. They don't have to love this guy. Actually, when we went, Debbie, good question. In the beginning, like I said, nobody did their job, so nobody did anything. But when we went to Montgomery County, which is a different county, when I finally went there for my final divorce, final custody hearing and everything, Kenny was forbidden to be around my kids at all. He was never allowed around my children at all. I have that paperwork. I can show it another time, but he was forbidden to be around any of my children at all. Unfortunately, Mackenzie was already murdered and raped and dead, but as far as my boys went, he was not allowed around my children. But all this evidence, this is laying on, supposedly, quote, quote, the Fayette County Sheriff's Office's desk, and you're telling me you ain't got a suspect? You're telling me you ain't got a person of interest? You're fucking dumb. You're a dumbass. If you don't think you ain't got a suspect, you're a dumbass. And then the same one that's making my kids suck each other's chests and trying to force my daughter to suck their chest and making my children suck each other's chest and then suck your chest, the son of a bitch fails a lie detector test twice, you ignore that. And then you're going to still turn around and say, I don't have nobody. I don't have no suspects. I don't have no person of interest. You're the dumbest sheriff I've ever seen in my entire life. And that goes back to what I said. That's the whole reason you won't meet me in the public eye and let me ask you those questions, because you don't want to look like a dumbass in front of the community because you don't want to answer these questions. Don't tell me you ain't got a suspect when my children were being messed with in 04 and 05. Then, when you find out it, when you get that evidence brought to you, then you turn around. What's up with the dinosaur? Who's Rodney McCarty? You got something to say, come and fucking say it to my face. Don't make whatever on here. Alright, so, back to what I was saying. So you're going to sit there and say you ain't got no suspects and no person of interest, and you got all this evidence that leads up to, and you know my daughter was raped? You know my daughter was raped, and you've got 3 suspects that did stuff to children. And actually, I'll take that back. I'll take that back, you guys. Not only do they have 3 suspects, but let me find it. Let me find it in a real detective's case file. Huh. What is this? Wow. Chris West. 7205. Chris West. What's that say? Sex offense occurred in the city on 8/4/03. Investigating the complaint of gross sexual incomposition of Mackenzie Taylor Branham. What? Are you serious? Here's another one that touched my daughter in 03. And then that one ain't even been brought in or questioned about anything. Come on, you guys. I mean, I'm showing you guys. Wow. Are you serious? And then you're going to sit there and tell me you ain't got no person of interest and no suspect. But you know what? You would if you do your fucking job. So I've got 5. I've got 5 that I have proven. So is a licensed psychologist. So has CPS. So has the Fayette County Memorial Hospital by doctors there, licensed doctors. We all come up with that these children were being abused sexually and physically and mentally. And you're going to sit here and tell me you got no suspects. And my daughter was raped. And you got DNA taken from internal out of my daughter's body. Dead body. White. You got male DNA. And I just gave you 5 males. And you have no clue who it was. You have no suspects and no person of interest. But none of these have their DNA tested yet. None of these have been brought in and questioned yet. And then people sit here and they say, that father don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Oh yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Oh, I surely know what I'm talking about. And I pray to God every day to keep my ass right here on this couch. Because like I said, I know who raped my little girl. I gave 11 names to the Fayette County Sheriff's Office a year and a half ago. 11 names. And I told them, when I handed them those names, that one of those, out of that 11, is going to hit that DNA. I'm going to tell you where the problem is. Here's the problem. The problem is this case being in Fayette County. That's the problem. Because I guarantee you there ain't no other cop out there that's going to look at this, what I have, and sit there and tell me, oh, I don't think I would have a suspect. I ain't even going to go there. Because like I said, there is some good cops out there. There is some good lawyers out there. And this prosecutor, he's about a dumbass too. You know. They all want to sit there and admit, yeah, you're right. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Yep, you're right. Yep, you're right. Okay, I'm right. Then fix the problem. Nobody wanted to fix the problem. So now I'm going to show you a real true detective. Okay? And I want y'all to really listen to this. Pay attention to what I say to him, how he answers me back. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Lauren, I hope your husband is watching this. I hope he is watching this. All right, you guys, I want you all to really listen to this one.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. July 5th, 2017. Talking with Ryan McFarland, detective of the Fayette County Sheriff's Office.
Did one of those things start out, you and Mary Ann were talking, and she accused you of cheating on her and said something like that, and then the conversation went into her meeting at the Coliseum or something like that? Was that one of the tapes you're talking about? All these tapes, okay.
There's two of them.
Yeah, there's a bunch of tapes. I'm still.
Well, there's two tapes. And they look like, they're cassettes.
Just regular size cassettes.
Regular size cassettes. They're black and gold. But the thing of it is, like I was saying, is the tapes that I had, like with Dusty Ruth on it and all that stuff, Evil Hall came, they got it all. They sent me back the exact tapes I gave them and copied everything to a CD. And that's what I don't understand. And I have a signed affidavit who was with me at the time when I turned the tapes over to Detective Brown. Because, like I said, Mary Ann talks about the fire. She even talks on one of the tapes, she even says, why didn't they test for diesel fuel? She even talks about the kerosene heater. She talks about where she exited in and out of the building, all that, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And I need those tapes.
Okay. I'm still looking. I gotta listen to them to see.
The reason why is, it's nothing against you, like I said. You came into this after Detective Brown died. And I told you that I wouldn't hold you reliable for anything because you just came into this. All that stuff was presented and given, you know what I'm saying, before.
And it's hard for me to play catch up on a lot of this stuff.
But here's the problem you have, though. And I'm not saying this in a rude way, and I don't want you to take this in a rude way, but you have nothing. You have nothing. What do you have? I mean, the clothes are destroyed, so you'll never be able to do anything with those. The ladder's gone, so you'll never be able to do anything with that. If it wasn't for me finding that coroner's report, you wouldn't even have that, which, when you read that coroner's report, and you can't sit here and tell me because you're a detective, that thing don't explain a lot. It does.
It says
because here's the thing, the firemen have no reason to lie.
Right.
They have no reason whatsoever to lie about what they saw when they got to that scene. They have no ties with me. They have no ties with Mary Ann. They have nothing. You know what I'm saying? They told what they saw. And the biggest thing that's catching everybody's eyes is the hesitation of the 20 minutes telling somebody that child was in the house. And you know as well as I do, that 20 minutes makes a big difference on how McKinney would have come out of that house 20 minutes earlier. want you to sign that one. That's just statement I gave it to you. But see that right there? That's what I was looking for. See that funny how they wrote my dome? That E right there? That's a weird, you know what I'm saying? That's like a one-of-a-kind beat. And you can tell that here's one I saw bigger than crap glasses. Look at this right here. This is what I call them real quick too. See that right there, that zip code? Okay? At first they were putting 43128. See it? Which is Jeffersonville's zip code. And then they realized that they put their own zip code and then they changed it to 6 and a 0. You see how they darken the 0 real quick over the 8?
I don't see the 2 and the 6, but I see that something's over the 0 is changed. I see the 6.
Okay, now take away the top of that. See where that line goes right there? The line goes towards the 0. And then there's a little 2. 4, 3, 1, 2. See how it?
I don't see it.
But then see the 8 in there inside the circle?
See, there's
Where it looks like someone tried to write an 8.
Yeah. Okay.
But here's my question about this. And I want to know the answer on this because this is my house. This is my family and this is my, you know what I'm saying. I don't need an incident where I'm going to end up hurting somebody coming to my house, trying to shut me up or whatever. I believe this was wrote by 2 people, Derek Myers or Leonard Science. That's who I believe wrote it. That's who I believe it came from.
And either one of those two. It could be either one of those. I mean, okay, here's what I want you to do. I don't want to touch it because I don't want my fingerprints on it, and it can't be in that plastic bag.
Oh, can be?
Cannot be. So I want you to put it in here for me. Don't touch it. Touch it the least amount you can.
I mean, I'm touching it, dude.
Now, here's the next thing I need. You and Kim have to come up to the sheriff's office and have fingerprints done because I have to send elimination prints in with this.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to know who wrote it. And if we don't have fingerprints on it, we don't have, what do you call it, DNA on that, where they licked it, that tells me if somebody knows what they're doing. That don't want to be caught.
Well, and that's, they really have to think about it in order to not touch it. You know, they had to, before they start, they had to have latex gloves. You know, from the time they got that piece of paper out of wherever they got it from, it can't be touched, you know. So they really had to think about that. Now, as far as the licking thing,
Yeah.
it was funny, they just took it wet.
Right, a lot of people do that nowadays. Now this here I gave to Jesse Weed. And this is something I think you need to know. I don't know if he let you know yet, but it's something you need to know. That was sent to me on Facebook. And I can show you on Facebook. Yeah. Now he took the name. Jesse Lee took the name down. He wrote witness beside it, and he's supposed to have these 2 drugs tested. sister that worked at that bar still lives here in the courthouse. But I have it on my phone if you need it sent or whatever. But here's the thing. This girl don't know me. I've never mentioned the drug to anybody. And me and you've never actually sat down and like really gone over what I have. You haven't. And my stories of me and Mary Ann's relationship. And one of the things, Mary Ann gave my kid Benadryl all the time. I caught her when I would wake up in the middle of the night when the baby would scream. She would be giving them Benadryl. Because Benadryl would make them go right back to sleep. And then I got some woman coming to me saying the same thing, you know what I'm saying? That Mary Ann admitted giving, a child Benadryl. Now, I don't know as far as how DNA is or technology.
What her sister Kathy's last name is there?
Did she put it on?
She said it's my sister Kathy. Her name's probably right here. I'm guessing she's probably married.
Yeah. I thought maybe this is it right here. So Kathy who is
Wilson, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, Kathy Pierce Wilson, right?
Pierce Wilson. There you go. And the thing is, man, I mean, I want, like I said, I talked to Ron Steeman yesterday, the day before. And I told him, I said, I'm trying to give Ryan all the benefit of this. But at the same token, you got to understand my point of view with Vernon's standpoint. Now, I know you guys are going to say, well, this, and everything. But there's so many fingers pointing at Vernon's standpoint and Mike Steele's putting the cover and not the part. Now, I don't know what part of the investigation you're doing in this. I don't understand the thing, but I had a conversation with Vernon on the phone, and he yelled and screamed at me and called me everything but a white man. Because I got the media involved in it. You don't understand. This is 11 years. Okay? And in 10 years, the Fayette County Sheriff's Office had this case. 10 years. Y'all had it. 10 years it didn't go nowhere. And it did. You cannot bring me one thing and sit there and say, here's what we've done in 2009. Here's what we did in 2011. But since I took over, which I warned everybody I was going to do what I was going to do, in less than since January of 2017 till now, look what I found.
As far as the cover-up here, I'm not going to get into the argument, but I want you to think about something. From the beginning, the state fire marshal was involved in.
Yes.
So they would have to help cover up stuff.
How? Because he even said that ladder was sitting in the evidence room on the wall.
In our evidence room?
Yep. That's where Ron Stevens saw it.
Nope.
Actually was in there in the evidence room against the wall.
Guarantee it wasn't. Guarantee it wasn't, because I am part of the first people.
Back when he first, yes, it was. And I don't believe Ron Stevens got a reason to lie that he saw the ladder. And I saw the ladder.
The same ladder, but
the ladder was in the back of that truck. Well, a truck like that right there with a cap on it. I saw the ladder at the crime scene in the truck, in a sheriff's vehicle. I mean, here's the thing, you don't lose the ladder.
Here's something. Okay. The state fire marshal's been involved in it from day one. Okay. Time it happened. Because they're the one that made a determination it was an arson first, but
right.
Okay. BCI is looking for this and investigating this.
BCI didn't investigate this. But go ahead. I'm not arguing with you.
This case has been sent to a private think tank, a group of people who sit down, who are law enforcement people, and they sit and discuss it and look at it and do other things, and try to piece apart it and see what it is. None of those people have ever said anything about anything being covered up. And I want you to know that I would never allow that to happen. If I thought...
I'm going to stop it right there. He said that this whole case was sent to a group of people that they call the think tank. And this think tank of people through all their reading of everything, said they didn't see nothing that was being covered up. I would love to see that file that they sent to this group of people that sat down in a room and thought about that there was no cover up. Because, boy, I can tell you right now, what I got and the evidence I got and the stuff I got, the tapes and everything, I guarantee you it's a cover-up.
Something that's been covered up, I would take it.
Okay, but you show me, bring me one officer to my house. Bring one officer to my house, and I'll shut up about it. Bring one officer to my house that tells me those clothes weren't relevant to this case.
There's nothing we can do about the clothes now, Don.
No, I know. But bring one officer to my house that can say those clothes are not relevant to this case.
I don't know if any of them might say that. But I'm telling you.
Would you say that?
I would have kept the clothes, I believe.
For later testing?
If you have a homicide, if you have a suicide, you keep the clothes.
Right. But you weren't in this. That's what I'm saying. You're...
He just said right there, if you have a homicide or a suicide, you keep the clothes. Okay, so where's my daughter's clothes?
I'm not beating you up. Trust me, if I was, I'd be putting your name out there like everybody else's. I'm not saying that. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt of saying there's something wrong with this whole entire case. You got to think about this. In that report, and even in your all sheriff report, it said Kenny had injuries, but no photographs were taken. And you can't go back and say, well, we don't know why Detective Brown didn't do that. We don't know why Dr. Gay did this. We don't know why.
Well, I can't say that. That's the only thing I can say.
Right, but here's the thing. If you look at this right here, this is the best thing ever came out. And it tells you exactly about everything you're supposed to do. Just like it says the first thing you're supposed to do, and Ron Steeman agreed with this, and so did some other detectives. The first thing, every fire is supposed to be treated as an arson first, then proved as an accident. Arson first. That way you start doing your crime scene immediately.
Right.
Okay? And even in this statement right here, which this was published in 1991, right after, and then it was brought out again when the 9/11 happened, because there was errors made in that. The thing of it is close one, but just like Marion and Kenny, okay? It says even in here, the remaining victims are supposed to be brought in immediately and interviewed, which they weren't.
Okay, well, that whole logic has changed. That's why this was in 1991. I have been to plenty of schools on interviewing victims. You do not do that now.
Why?
3 sleep cycles.
What do you mean 3 sleep?
Sleep cycles. People need to sleep 3 times because you have a traumatic experience. Your brain does not function the way it should, and you don't remember things, and you don't say the right things until after 3 sleep cycles.
Okay, well,
There you go, Lauren. Did you hear that? So what he just said, and I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care who you are, man. He said the 3 sleep cycles. We don't bring people in and question them until after they've had 3 full days of sleep. Are you fucking kidding me? And I'm the dumb redneck? I'm the dumb redneck? I'm going to go out here and murder somebody because I know they're going to let me go home for 3 days and sleep because it was such a traumatic situation. It was traumatic, and my brain ain't functioning right. So I might not answer questions the right way. Are you fucking kidding me? I have never in my entire life, ever in my entire life, have I heard of a 3-day sleep cycle. Please, somebody out there, tell me you've heard of them sending somebody home for 3 days. In 3 days, let me tell you what they're going to do in 3 days. 3 days, they're going to do what they just did with Mackenzie's case. They're going to cover up stuff. They're going to get their stories together. They're going to be able to talk about what to say and what not to say. They're going to talk to people that's related in the law enforcement. Come on, you guys. Come on. And you're going to tell me that this think tank that they sent this information to, believe that shit? They really believed in a 3-day sleep cycle. I want you to rewind. I got to hear that again, you guys. I'm sorry. I got to hear that again. I have to hear that again.
Determination it was an arson first, but
Right.
okay. BCI is investigating this.
He's not even investigating this. But go ahead. I'm not arguing with you.
This case has been sent to a private think tank, a group of people who sit down, who are law enforcement people, and they sit and discuss it and look at it and do other things, you know, and try to piece apart it and see what it is. None of those people have ever said anything about anything that's been covered up. And I want you to know that I would never allow that to happen. If I thought something had been covered up, I would take it.
Okay, but you told me, bring me one officer to my house. Bring one officer to my house, and I'll shut up about it. Bring one officer to my house that tells me those clothes weren't relevant to this case.
There's nothing we can do about the clothes now, Don.
No, I know. But bring one officer to my house that can say those clothes are not relevant to this case.
I don't know if any of them might say that. But I'm telling you,
Would you say that?
I would have kept the clothes, I believe.
For later testing?
If you have a homicide, if you have a suicide, you keep the clothes.
Right. But you weren't in this. That's what I'm saying. I'm not beating you up. Trust me, if I was, I'd be putting your name out there like everybody else's. I'm not saying that. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt of saying there's something wrong with this whole entire case. You got to think about this. In that report, and even in your all sheriff report, it said Kenny had injuries, but no photographs were taken. And you can't go back and say, well, we don't know why Detective Brown didn't do that. We don't know why Dr. Day did this. We don't know why.
Well, I can't say that. That's the only thing I can say.
Right, but here's the thing. If you look at this right here, this is the best thing ever came out. And it tells you exactly about everything you're supposed to do. Just like it says, the first thing you're supposed to do, and Ron Steeman agreed with this, and so did some other detectives. The first thing, every fire is supposed to be treated as an arson first, then proved as an accident. Arson first. That way you start doing your crime scene immediately. Okay? Even in this statement right here, which this was published in 1991, right after, and then it was brought out again when the 9/11 happened, because there was errors made in that. The thing of it is close one, but just like Marianne and Kenny, okay? It says even in here, the remaining victims are supposed to be brought in immediately and interviewed, which they weren't.
Okay, well, that whole logic has changed. That's why this was in 1991. I have been to plenty of schools on interviewing victims. You do not do that now.
Why?
3 sleep cycles.
What do you mean 3 sleep?
Sleep cycles. People need to sleep 3 times because you have a traumatic experience. Your brain does not function the way it should, and you don't remember things, and you don't say the right things until after 3 sleep cycles.
Okay, well, even after
3 sleep cycles, like he said. You don't remember what you're... Yeah, God almighty, man. Whoo, man. You guys wonder why I am so fucking pissed. You guys wonder why I am pushing this to the highest limits. And this is why. This is why, like, Mike DeWine and them don't want to hear me. Because they're the ones that support these people. These are the ones that support this law enforcement to sit there and tell a victim's father of a child that was murdered and raped that we don't bring people in right away. We let them have the 3 sleep cycles, 3 full sleeps before we bring them in, so that way they can have their story straight. I don't know what to say. I honestly cannot tell y'all. I don't know what to say to you guys. I really don't. This is why I'm upset, because like I look right here right now tonight, and there's 36 people watching this. You know, and this should be all over the friggin' world. This should be out so big on what happened to this little girl. This should be told everywhere. This is what I go through every day. Every day. And then he said he went to many schools And in their training, that's what they taught them, is to send somebody home for 3 days. But I want to hear this one part again.
Close one, but just like Marion and Kenny, okay, it says even in here, the remaining victims are supposed to be brought in immediately and interviewed, which they weren't.
Okay, well, that whole logic has changed. That's why this was in 1991. I have been to plenty of schools on interviewing victims. You do not do that now.
Why?
3 sleep cycles.
What do you mean 3 sleep?
Sleep cycles. People need to sleep 3 times because you have a traumatic experience. Your brain does not function the way it should, and you don't remember things, and you don't say the right things until after 3 sleep cycles.
Okay, well, even that.
You don't say the right things until after 3 sleep cycles. The bottom line is, you're trying to catch them saying something about the murder. You bring them right in. But that's why, when you look at the lie detector test, okay, and think about this. That lie detector test was done in May, okay? And if you look at the lie detector test results, and this is the God's honest truth, everything on there, every question on there was asked about the fire. Nothing at all about Mackenzie. If you touched her, did you hurt her? Did you do something to her? Nothing at all about Mackenzie. Only the fire. And like I told everybody, this fire was the cover up. This fire was to cover up what happened to my little girl. You don't find DNA, male's DNA, in an 8-year-old child's vagina, and then don't ask questions to how it got there, and then don't even question the boyfriend of the mother. Are you fucking kidding me? You guys wonder why I get so friggin' pissed over this case. Because if they're doing this to my daughter, I guarantee you they're doing it to other children too. I mean, come on. They knew that day when they sent my daughter to Montgomery County that this was suspicious. 1 mistake. 2, they washed my daughter's body, sent her back home, and then turned around and took her back because they knew something else was suspicious, and drawed and found internal DNA. Male's internal. I guarantee you my 8-year-old child was not sleeping with nobody. No males. I am so sick and tired of Fayette County Sheriff's Office thinking I'm a dumbass. This is what upsets me, because this story should be all over the world. I ain't kidding you. Then half-naked men dancing around on a video, and they get 89 million fucking viewers. And my little girl gets 1,000 viewers. This is reality. And honestly, I should demand that the law enforcement that was involved in this case should take a lie detector test to ask them questions about my daughter and the case. That's what should be done. I'm going to calm down, let y'all listen to the rest.
Now that would be stupid because it also says you're supposed to remove any clothing or anything on those victims. That was never done. To see if there was any signs of fuel or whatever was used to set my daughter's house on fire, you know what I'm saying? Then let's go back to the pickup truck. You can't sit here and tell me that pickup truck should have been able to drive away from that crime scene. That truck was sitting in the middle of the road. You all have no...
No, hold on a second. I can't do anything to change it. You're pissed off that it happened, or things didn't happen. And I understand that. I cannot do anything today. You can't, I can't, no one can do anything today to change those things. It's not going to happen. If you continue to dwell on those things, you're just pissing yourself off because we can't do anything that, is there anything that you know of that we can do to change it?
Right there, man. He's telling me, I understand you're pissed off and everything, but if you dwell on this, all you're going to do is keep pissing yourself off. Same thing Vernon put in the newspaper, that I was a, oh man, what did he call me in the newspaper? Shoot. I can't remember right offhand, but, you know, what am I supposed to be happy? Am I supposed to be happy that my daughter was murdered? Am I supposed to be happy that my baby was raped? Am I supposed to be happy that we got a sorry-ass sheriff department that don't know how to investigate a homicide? I mean, honestly, is that what I'm supposed to be? I'm supposed to be happy? I'm supposed to go around this town and just with a smile on my face? Yeah, I remember what they called Mackenzie, too.
That stuff now.
Yep, that was it, Sean. Thank you. A disgruntled father.
I already know the truth is, once evidence like we talked about her stuff that Marianne took out of Mackenzie's room, we can't even go to her house and get that stuff. And there could be a hair on there that said who was in that room, but we can't do nothing. Because how can we prove that that hair wasn't put afterwards?
Right.
Alright, so, and I know that, I know what you're saying, but still, you gotta understand, you got kids, right?
Yes.
So you gotta understand why I'm pissed over this.
I understand that, but we can't change any of it now. We need to work with what we've got and move forward.
Okay, so then, what do we have? Honestly, what do we have?
Well, we just exhumed her body.
Yeah,
And that stuff needs to go for
okay, and that's another question too. Why haven't I got...
And there you go right there. I'm sorry I keep stopping this, you guys. But there you go again. Once again, he says, we just got to move forward with what we got. And I asked him, what do you got? You ain't got nothing. Well, we got the exhuming. Okay, if y'all remember the exhuming part, Vernon told my wife on the phone, which, you know, I played that one. He told my wife on the phone that, well, BCI didn't get a hold of us, so there must not have been nothing there. But there was something there, because I called BCI myself, and then when the lady at the lab realized who she was speaking to, and said, oops, I ain't supposed to be talking to you. And I said, well, you've already told enough. You might as well finish the conversation with me. They had DNA there, too. It wasn't strong as the DNA at Montgomery County, but they had DNA there. But that's what I'm saying, you guys. I am pouring out my heart, man, and I don't know what else to do. I am pouring out my heart, man, trying to get this, but you guys don't understand either, man. It takes money for me to do certain things. And that's what kills me. People will give $100,000 to somebody to get a tattoo, but they won't give a father money to get justice for a little girl that was raped and set on fire and murdered. I don't understand this world. I don't understand this community. You know, like I said last night, or the night before, 22,000 people live in Fayette County. I got 32 people on here watching this. Out of 22,000 people, 5,000, almost 6,000 people voted for Vernon Stanforth and put him in the office that he's in for 16 years. That means he's served 4 4-year terms. He's been in there since my daughter's murder. I go up here and I protest, and I sit on a street corner, and I protest right in front of the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. And nobody will come up there and show their face. Nobody will sit up there for hours with me and protest on answers to what happened and why it went wrong. I don't know what else to do. I'm pouring out my heart to everybody. I have put this out there. I put this out there. I mean, I have showed these videos. I've taped things. I mean, I've done everything you can possibly do. And I'm running out of things to do. I mean, yeah, I know I need to make some trips to Columbus and knock on a few doors up there. But the thing of it is, I don't know what else to do. I really don't.
The preliminary on that yet.
Preliminary on what?
The preliminary pathology.
We haven't got it yet.
The preliminary, I'm not saying, you know what,
They're not doing, hold on,
this.
hold on. They're not doing that again.
Why?
They are doing in addition to that.
Okay, why, I don't understand when I got this receipt, these papers, this is what Dr. K gave me, this is what Montgomery County got. Right? But where was the pathology one?
That is pathology.
That's toxology. Pathology would show where you all tested skin tissue.
That's pathology.
Where?
This is toxicology.
That's toxicology. There's no pathology.
I know. What did they do?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
Did they do it? We never have pathology on our reports.
Why? You don't know if they checked under her fingernails for skin tissue?
Right there, he said they'll never get a pathology report. That's a lie. That's a lie. They would get pathology report. They would get the toxology report. They would get every report that is filed on this murder case. They would get. Don't bullshit me and sit there and tell me we don't get a pathology. Bullcrap. Pathology tells you a lot more than toxology does.
No one.
Is it in there?
No. There ain't nothing in there about fingernails. Ain't nothing in there that they.
Because that will show in this report. When it gets to
What I'm saying is preliminary this is a preliminary report. That's what this is called.
no, this is the post-mortem examination. This
What is preliminary? Because it would not tell me what you all actually found if there was something you found.
No,
That's going to go
this
to
is not a
trial.
preliminary report. This is the coroner's report. This is the autopsy report. That is the coroner's verdict.
Right.
That's all there is.
Why is that all there is?
Because that's what they do. That's what they give us. But if you go through here and they would have done some things,
They didn't say nothing in there about skin underneath nails. If they checked
it
fingernails.
would have been stated in there.
It's not.
I understand that. But it would have been stated in there.
All would have been.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's not.
So what was done here? That.
Yes, we were doing things to make sure that we have everything that we need to have as best as
Okay. Now what about drugs?
What about it?
Like the two drugs I mentioned. Were they testing for drugs too? No.
No longer in the body.
We need no longer in the body.
The drugs only have a certain half-life.
Really?
They don't last so long.
7 years. They can dig up a person and check for drugs. It's called crystal lights. That's where they check for crystals. That's how they found out that people nowadays were murdered by people using antifreeze. By crystal lights. You understand what I'm saying? So then by me giving those...
Now, once again, I asked him about testing for drugs. And he said, well, they don't, they don't do drugs because it's out of your system and blah, 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 when we're talking about the exhuming here. And I said, you're full of shit. You're, more or less you're lying to me because they can dig up a body even after 7 years in the ground. They can dig up a body and still pull crystal lights. And when I started explaining about crystal lights and stuff, he's like, it's like teaching a 2-year-old. He's like, well, shit, pretty much like, okay, well, better come up with a different answer for Mr. Branham because he knows more than I thought he did. And that's what I get out of this. That's what I get out of this, is they try to play me as I'm dumb, and then they wonder why I'm so pissed.
You go through here, and they would have done some things.
They didn't say nothing in there about skin underneath nails. If they checked fingernails.
It would have been stated in there.
It's not.
I understand that. But it would have been stated in there.
Oh.
Now, he also, right there, he said, that's where I was talking about the checking under her fingernails for skin tissue. And he said, they would have done that. And I said, well, it's not. He said, yeah, I know that. Okay. But during the exhuming, they knew this. And I told them I wanted her nails checked under her fingernails and x-rays done. And I have the tape where that wasn't done. Even the coroner said the x-rays weren't done. Checking under her nails was not done. All they did was they checked her outer body again and then went where they found the first DNA and found more in the internal part. But they checked on the outside. And the prosecutor on another tape explains that. And they already knew, the coroner already said in his report that they washed the body before they sent her back to Fayette County, before she came back to Montgomery County. So why are you checking for DNA on the outside when you already knew they didn't find it the first time? Because her body was washed. So what was the whole reason of digging up my daughter? Because when I asked for my daughter to be dug up, I asked for the skin tissue to be done because it wasn't done the first time. X-rays to be done because it wasn't done the first time. And they didn't do neither one again. This is why I'll probably have to dig up my little girl again.
Yeah, is what you're saying. Yeah. But it's not. It's not. So what was done here? That?
Yes, we were doing things to make sure that we have everything that we need to have as best as we can.
Okay, now what about drugs?
What about it?
Like the 2 drugs I mentioned. Were they testing for drugs too? No.
No longer in the body.
What do you mean no longer in the body?
The drugs only have a certain half-life.
Really?
They don't last so long.
7 years. They can dig up a person and check for drugs. It's called crystal lights. That's where they check for crystals. That's how they found out that people nowadays were murdered by people using antifreeze, by crystal lights. You understand what I'm saying? So then by me giving those 2 drugs to disagree, him sending it over to Montgomery County wasn't done him any good anyway, because they ain't what they weren't taking for.
If they still have her blood sample there,
Should have it though. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing that should be destroyed until this case is final. But everything that they did over there should have went into wherever they put it at. Their blood, the child's blood, everything, hair. But see, that's the thing.
I don't know what their results.
See, I have her hair. I have her hair. After her death, I have it. So I can have it tested. Because I've got it. Because Dave Marshall cut her hair for me and put it in the envelope. So I had like 20-something samples of her hair. But that's what I'm saying. I don't understand Montgomery County theory on this that, okay, Fayette County saying they don't need none of this, so we'll just get rid of it.
I don't know either.
This is her hair when she was a baby. These are her hair right here.
I can't tell you that.
This is her hair after she was dead that I have.
Okay, we know that Dr. Gay never went in her room either.
They might have destroyed it, but I have it.
You know what I'm saying? Take it off. He did not remove any sheets. They did not remove any sheets. They did not remove any stuffed animals. But Mary Ann had that now. But they didn't remove nothing, and I don't understand that part either. Crime scenes have always been the same for years. For years. With 84, Mackenzie died in 2006.
We're back to the same place.
Okay, so what do we got? Well, you tell me how in the world we're going to solve this. Please do not tell me what Bernie said. We're going to sit here and wait till somebody walks in this office and sits down and says, okay, Ryan the Barn, and I do. Please don't tell me that's what you're facing this case on.
We have to send the things and get them examined. Examine the body.
Okay. And there's
And hopefully, our hope is that will tell us something.
Okay. When we get a chance, Steve, you sit down, because I did do a medium. I've never done one in my entire life. A medium where they talk to the dead. Okay? That medium, I want you to listen to that tape. Because she mentions stuff on that tape that there's no way this woman, she's from Texas, I'm getting ready to do another one with her. There's no way this lady could find out any of this information. And one of the things that she mentioned on that tape, which you probably don't even know it because I've never discussed it with you, but me and Ron Stevens discussed it right after the fire, that Mackenzie had a padlock out on her bedroom door. Okay? Oh, I didn't tell you about it. That meeting talked about that in this thing.
So you see right there, he just admitted that was brought up. That my daughter had a padlock on the outside of her door. A padlock on the outside of a bedroom door. I know you guys, but here's the thing. I want to test that here. I want to take it and have it tested myself. And that costs money to do that. And it's quite a bit of money. And I understand that. But I am not going to just give this hair. This is all I have. This is all I got left. I am not just going to hand that hair to somebody and say, here, go test this, and then let me know what the results are, because that ain't going to happen. You already know that. It's going to say, it's an ongoing investigation. You know, we ain't going to give it back to you. Sorry. No, that's not going to happen. Okay? Because just like that letter we were talking about in the beginning where he didn't want to touch and he didn't want to put his hands on it, you know, that test results came back. And they did find DNA on that letter and that envelope. And that was, let's see, I gave that to him on July 7th, 2017. Because I made him sign it this time that I gave him a letter to go to have fingerprints and DNA at BCI done. And right there, and there's his signature right there, Ryan McFarland. There's my signature, 7717. And I'll bring you guys right back to the audio. But there's the letter, because I made sure I took a picture of the letter and the envelope and everything before I gave it to him. And there's the letter, which I know what it says. This one's blurry, but I do have the letter. I think Sean has it and Holly has it too, a copy of it, and of what the letter says. And it's more about the corrupt cover-up of Mackenzie's death and everything. But like I said, that's never... no answer on that no more. Alright, so I'll go back to the audio.
And what Mackenzie's telling about the bedroom, and Mackenzie said that there was evidence on the bed and on her clothes. This woman is from Texas. Somebody else paid for this to be done for me. Now the lady's doing it for free. But I would like for you, I take the medium thing, the whole.
Was there a phone or?
No, it was where you do like Skype or something. Yeah, where I'm looking at her and she's looking at me. But this lady, she did not, never asks me a question. She never said, you know, some people will feed off of what your answer is. Never asks me a question. But I would love for you to listen to it just to see, because there's nothing wrong with those people. I've seen law enforcement use them before. Remember that lady Judy Brown, I think was her name, or Sylvia Brown? She used to be on TV. She did a lot with the law. Now she's probably in her 90s. But there's no reason, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes those people can lead you to something that you're not looking at.
Yeah, that's true.
But Mackenzie kept talking about also in this uncle. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you've interviewed Jamie Potter or not. I don't know if you have.
No, I haven't.
But I believe he was there a lot longer than what he's saying.
Boom, there you guys go, right there. Okay? Now, Jamie Potter, that's the brother that I said that was there till midnight that night. He just sat right there. This is July 7th, 2017. He came in on this case on the year of 2013. So 2013 to 2017, that's 4 years. And now we're at 2019. So that's another 2 years. That's 6 more years. And has not yet spoke to one person that said, I was there that night, standing in that room, in that front room, talking to the mom, talking to the boyfriend. I watched Mackenzie go to bed in a blue nightgown, even though she was carried out an hour and a half later in only panties and a tank top and socks. And never yet has brought him in and questioned him. Never has brought him in and questioned him. And then when I turn over stuff, when I play the Vernon tape, you'll hear me. He even says, oh, well, we're going to get a hold of him tomorrow and bring him in. And because he's talking and we need to find out. They ain't done it yet. Still ain't done it yet.
A lot longer than what he's saying. And if you go by my theory, and it's a theory, like you said, you listen to me, and I know you do. I believe Jamie wasn't there to pick up 2 pizzas. I believe Jamie was there to actually pick Mackenzie up. And I believe Mackenzie didn't want to go. And I believe the reason she didn't want to go is because I believe he was one of them that was messing with Mackenzie. You know what I'm saying? Sexually. I'm not saying that he penetrated her, but I believe he was doing some things. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that was her fear. She didn't want to go, and that's why she made a comment. I'm going to my dad's this weekend. I'm not going with you. He said, remember, that he was there, was telling her that he was hitting her that weekend, that Marianne and Kenny were leaving that weekend. And so here's Katie with that story, but then Marianne.
Sarah, not to be rude, hon, but I wouldn't go back to that sheriff's office with my witnesses that I found, or Jamie or anybody else. I don't trust them as far as I can throw my fat ass across the street. I will never go back to that sheriff's office with any evidence. No fucking way.
Says in a statement, and I've got statements, so Marianne, she said that Mackenzie was having a yard sale that weekend. They were having a yard sale. So why would Jamie say the statement he made that Mackenzie was leaving with him, and Marianne say they weren't going anywhere? That, see what I'm saying? That's two family members, and they both got two different stories. One saying they were going to be there that weekend, they were having a yard sale. Jamie says they were leaving out of town, and Mackenzie was there going to go with him, and she made a comment, no, I'm not going with my dad, and I'm not coming back.
We get conflicting shit all the time. People,
but here's the thing, everything
lie to us all the time.
Right. But here's the thing, what I have, and that's what I would love to do, sit down with you and go over what I have, because I have statements from Marianne on Facebook, okay? And it shows her pictures, shows her making a statement, and she talks about everything. She even blames me for this and that. So, it's not like, but here's the thing, too. Me and Marianne were not having no conflict when Mackenzie died, at all. I was giving that woman money all the time. Mackenzie was coming to my bar and borrowing $25 from me. But not borrowing it, but asking for $25 for lunch money. Then I find out after Mackenzie dies that Mackenzie was on free lunch. She didn't need lunch money. Then I find out Marianne was using the $25 to pay a tanning salon to Tina. So I'm paying for her tanning thing. See what I'm saying? And Marianne's going to blow smoke up anybody that they've already tried. See, I already know that, and I believe this. You were going to say, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know I was set up on my daughter's memorial, at her memorial that I did at grave. I know I was set up. And Vernon said it by who? Sheriff's office. What do you mean? Okay, when I came to the scene, and I'm going to tell you something, I'm not a dumb person.
This is where the fight happens, you guys. This is where the fight happens.
To my daughter's memorial thing that I held in a newspaper and everything.
Oh, not when we did the exit.
No.
Okay.
Two sheriffs were sitting at the fire station. When we pulled into the grave, my daughter's grave's out here. There's a line and there's trees right here. Okay? For years and years visiting my daughter's grave, I was always allowed to park right there. But over here is a little house. The little white house, you know, that one house. Here sits a worker on a Saturday. Got cones all the way down there so nobody can park there. Now, I'm over here, right here, I'm about right here. Marianne's family's right here, the Potter showed up. Okay, they're here, we're over here. All of a sudden, here comes William Potter walking down through here. So I look over there and I see William walking down through the path, the gravel road. And in that truck sits a worker and he has his camera up and he's filming everything. Now, Marianne shows up and she meets William and then they walk over here and go right next to Mary Potter. Okay? Now, this guy's filming everything. Cones are all the way down here so nobody can park there. And I know why, because if anybody had trucks or anything like that, he wouldn't be able to film the scene. First of all, I wasn't going to beat William's ass. I wasn't going to beat Marianne's ass. And if that's what the Vernon Stamper wanted me to do was commit a crime and own dollars.
So you're saying that Vernon had somebody sit
right? I believe it. Sure.
I gotta go. That's bullshit.
Who would you think? Why would they sit there in a city in a Jeffersonville Township truck filming it? Why would they film it?
Because anybody can film stuff. The same reason Derek Myers films stuff, and anybody else walking down the street films stuff. Everybody's got a video camera. I'm not going to stand here and listen to that. We had nothing to do with that, and I'm not putting up with it, dog. I'm not. I've heard for the last time how the sheriff's office is against you or doing whatever to fuck this up, and it's not true.
Why you not cussing it like that one?
I'm not cussing at you.
Really, you just said it. Why you?
Now, he just said that I'm not going to sit here and listen to you tell us that the sheriff's office fucked this up. And I said, why are you cussing at me? He said, I didn't cuss at you. He's bad as Marianne. He just said, right there, he said, I'm not going to let you accuse the sheriff's office of fucking...
He wouldn't be able to film the scene. First of all, I wasn't going to beat William's ass. I wasn't going to beat Marianne's ass. And if that's what the Vernon Stammer wanted me to do was commit a crime and own dollars.
So you're saying that Vernon had somebody sit
No, I believe it.
Sure. I gotta go. That's bullshit.
Who would you think, why would they sit there in a city in a Jeffersonville Township truck filming it? Why would they film it?
Because anybody can film stuff, the same reason Derek Myers films stuff, and anybody else walking down the street films stuff. Everybody's got a video camera. I'm not going to stand here and listen to that. We had nothing to do with that, and I'm not putting up with it, dog. I'm not. I've heard for the last time how the sheriff's office is against you or doing whatever to fuck this up, and it's not true.
Why you got cussing at me?
I'm not cussing at you.
Really, you just why you got cussing at me? I'm going to tell you what, this is my daughter. So you're going to walk away like that?
No, I heard it the last time. Every time you say something like that,
This is him. He's walking out of my garage. He don't want to talk to me no more.
questions who I am. And I would never do anything like that. And if I wanted to film it, or Vernon wanted to film it, I would know about it, and it would have been filmed, and I would have been out there doing it. So I don't want to hear that crap.
All because I said cover up.
Okay, well, I see where we're going with this then.
I'm doing this for
I see where we're going with this then. I see where we're going. For what now? What did you say?
I'm doing this for Mackenzie. I'm not doing this for you.
What are you talking about for me? I never said this was about me.
I'm telling you, I'm doing this for Mackenzie.
I never said this was about me though.
That's it. He left me. I pissed him off. Probably because, not only because I told him it was cover up, and he got mad at me about it. You know, the thing of it is, like I said, ain't nobody ever heard of a 3-sleep cycle. You know, and this 3-sleep cycle thing, he didn't know nothing about crystal lights, that you could dig up a body within 7 years and find crystal lights, which then they can test the crystal lights, which then proves what kind of drugs that she might have had in her system, other than the ones that they did during the autopsy. And, you know, I wasn't trying to be a smartass. I mean, like I told him, I wasn't there to beat him up. I wasn't there to try to piss him off or anything like that. I was there to explain that there is things that you can do. They didn't want to listen to that. And then, like I said, when I said it was a cover-up, all hell broke loose. The whole his demeanor changed. I was more or less a piece of shit. He was done talking to me, and he walked out of my garage. Yes, I did follow him out of my garage yelling and screaming, but you know what? 13 years, man. 13 years. I have every right to be pissed. I have every right to be mad. You're going to call me a disgruntled father. You're going to tell me that that quit dwelling on this. I wouldn't have to dwell on it if you do your damn job. I mean, their actions are no different than that mother the night that my daughter was raped and murdered. Their actions are no different. When they got caught with their pants down below their knees, and I started confronting them, and then they realized that they were taped, and they realized they were on video, now there's an order out, don't speak to Donald no more. I mean, you know, they act like us parents, when we lose a kid to a homicide and a rape, that we're just supposed to sit home and just, hey, everything's all right, you know, they'll catch that person one day. Man, if it ain't for parents like me that fight and push and push and push. I'm going to tell you right now, and this is the God's honest truth. They can say whatever they want to say over there at the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. I could give a rat's ass. Bottom line is, if it wasn't for me, my daughter's case would be sitting on a desk collecting dust until the day I die. I'm just being honest. I'm being truthful about it. You know, that's where it would be. I'm telling you guys right now. Trying to charge my phone. I don't want to lose y'all. You know, I don't mean, like I said, I'm not trying to be rude, man. I'm not trying to be an asshole about this, man. And I should be, but I'm not. I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, I tried to give it to them the benefit of the doubt. And you can see they don't want to take it. They don't want to, they want to make excuses for each other. They want to blame people that's dead. I mean, I don't know how many times in that video he sat there and said, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can, bullshit. You got DNA sitting in Montgomery County that came out of the inside of my little girl. There is so much you can do. So much you can do. Don't tell me there ain't nothing you can do. I ain't the one that ordered the clothes to be destroyed. I ain't the one that took the ladder out of the friggin' sheriff's evidence room. I ain't the one that misplaced 2 tapes. I ain't the one that made paperwork disappear. I ain't the one that did that. I have no control of that. Because obviously, the fire marshal still has all his. The fire marshal still has all his evidence. He still has everything he collected from that scene. I still have all my evidence. I still have all my stuff that I've collected. I mean, honestly, you got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is there, about 9? I think there's 9 now, 9 witnesses. 9 witnesses that could be interviewed. There's exhuming that can be done again. So this time you do it right and get the skin tissue underneath their nails. There's bringing in the mom and the boyfriend interviews again. There's still the brother that's never been tested on anything. Lie detector. There's also lie detector tests that need to be done on Mackenzie, not the fire. I mean, I can go on and on and on about how much there is to do. Sarah, on that one, they didn't really give me a date or time. You know, they didn't give me anything. Which I'm looking at 30 days, and they just got it January the 3rd. So I mean, to me, I'd say 30 days. But you got to understand, the people that's working on this, they have other cases that they also are working on, and you know, when they get to Mackenzie, they'll get to Mackenzie, or they might, you know, back and forth, switching back and forth. But I'll tell you guys right now, I know that some of y'all out there have cops as husbands or wives, or some of y'all are police officers yourselves. Please, please tell me, honestly, is there such a thing as 3-day sleep cycle? I just want to know if there's such a thing. Because I have Googled it. I have done everything. The only time I ever seen 3-day sleep cycle is when a psychologist got you under hypnosis. So I just want to know if that's true, because all the real shows I've watched on TV, you know, like Vernon wants to say I watch CSI, which I don't watch CSI, but all the true shows that I watch, they bring their asses right in. Right straight into law enforcement, and right into the interview room and start interviewing. I have not yet seen anybody yet say, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you need to go home for 3 days and sleep, but then we're going to bring you back in. I have ever heard of it. So if anybody out there ever heard of this, please tell me you've heard of it. Send me the definition of it. I mean, I guarantee you one thing. I bet every friggin' person out there that murders somebody, rapes somebody, domestic violence, whatever, I bet they would love to be able to go home for 3 days and sleep so they can get their story together. And hell, by then, bruises would already be healing. Come on, man. That's why the Fayette County Sheriff's Office doesn't have Mary Ann's clothes from the fire, doesn't have Kenny's clothes from the fire. Maybe that's what I ought to ask. Maybe I asked, did y'all collect their clothes that they were in, because they knew it was an arson. And I'm going to tell you how I know they knew it was an arson. Because Kenny's lie detector test was taken the same day. He went that night at 11 o'clock that night to take a lie detector test. And remember, he's 100% deaf in his hearing aids. He hadn't got his hearing aids yet, so, I don't know how he took the test or how he even heard the examiner. But maybe that's a question we need to ask. Maybe we need to find out where's their clothes, so that they could have checked their clothes for accelerant, smoke, soot, blood, semen. Why didn't they collect their clothes? Alright, well, I'm going to play another one, you guys, because I started early today. I mean, I figured with, I don't know, I think we got about 4 inches of snow. Figured everybody'd be home. That's why I went on live tonight, early tonight and everything. And like I said, got 25 people on here watching this. And what, are you ashamed that, the other 21,975 people are afraid of what I'm talking about? Must not be too concerned about your community that there's a rapist and arsonist out there. But we're going to go ahead and play another one. Yeah, that's what I call Fayette County Sheriff's Office. I always get the answer machine.
Ryan, this is Donald Branham. When you get a chance, give me a call at 740-463-9091. Hello?
Heard your call.
Hey, man, what are you doing?
I'm just in the process of getting through my messages.
I've got that coroner's report that was missing.
Okay.
I'm not happy with it. I know now why it was missing.
Why was it missing?
Well, let's see. It explains in here that Mackenzie was found on her bed, on her stomach, not on her back, like I was told. It also, in here, it also states that Mary Ann's pickup truck was running. It was actually running.
Okay.
So you got a pickup truck sitting in the middle of the road, both doors open, her cell phone in it, and now I find out it was also even running. The truck was running.
Okay.
So how can that truck be sitting in the road, doors open, her cell phone in it, truck running, but she supposedly woke up in the middle of the fire?
Well, that's a good question.
Then, I couldn't understand either is, why did Joyce Danforth give a statement at the fire?
I don't
don't know. Other than I don't know when she got there, but no, I don't know.
She left my house at 5:30 that morning and went to the house after she left my house first. She went there. Then she gives a statement, and even in her statement, she says, it is reported that the father hates the mother, boyfriend, Mr. Mossbarger. Why would you sit there and say that?
I don't know.
She's not an investigator. She does not work for the Fayette County Sheriff's Office. She does not, it is not really nothing. You know what I'm saying? So why is she giving the coroner a report? Then, number two, I find out the coroner never even went in her room, never sealed off the room, and never collected any evidence from where the body was found.
Okay.
And when I talked to Ron Steeman yesterday, he told me that the reason that Dr. Gay couldn't go up into her room was because he would have had to use a ladder, and he was fragile, whatever that means. I don't know. I've never met Dr. Gay, so I don't even know what he looked like. But he was fragile. Okay? So then why didn't they call in Dr. Mesker, who was the assistant and younger, to go up there? I mean, that's a crime scene. Wherever the body is found, that's a crime scene. Right or wrong?
Once it's determined an arson, yeah, crime scene, I don't know. Yeah. At the end of the day, yeah, why he didn't go in there, I don't know.
Okay, but then Mike Stiegels allows William Potter to go up in that bedroom and remove stuff that Mary Ann has at her house in a trash bag. And when I talked to Ron Steeman, he said, well, the bad news about this is whatever she's got at her house will never be able to use as evidence, because once somebody takes it, passes it on to somebody else, and they pass it on to somebody else, it's no longer, you can't say, wait, you know, it's just, you can't use it.
Right, it's hard to use. You're exactly right.
So, because Marianne has these Care Bears in a trash bag, even if we was to get that trash bag and we found a male's hair on one of those bears that might match that DNA they got out of her room, how in the world are we ever going to prove that? We can't, because you can't use it.
It's going to be tough. I mean, absolutely tough. So,
my question is, why was these mistakes made?
Well, that I can't answer, because I don't know. And, you know, you're asking me questions about something that happened 11 years ago,
Yeah.
and you know, most of the people that are involved are no longer here to say why did this happen, and you know, I can't answer those questions.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. There's tons of murder cases. There's tons of fire and somebody's died in that was ruled an arson, and they've always collected the clothes. They've always collected stuff around where the body was found. And it even states, I even got the Ohio advisory thing of arson investigation, deaths, and injuries, and it states right here, if the body has not already been secured, the investigator's first job on arrival is to secure the area and limit foot traffic to only the investigator and medical examiner. Now, the investigator would have been Philip Brown. The examiner would have been Dr. Gay. Okay, unless insinuating circumstances exist. Secure not only the body, but also secure the clothing, shoes, personal effects that may contain trace evidence such as accelerant, hair, fiber. Now, when I talked to Ron Steeman on the phone yesterday, like in this report that was missing, that now I have, Dr. Gay says that the clothes were wet. He did not say they were singed. He did not say they were water damaged. He said they were wet. And when I asked Ron Steeman, I said, wet like what? Maybe there was a cylinder on those clothes. And he said, true, but we'll never know. There's no clothes.
Right. You're right. Well, we'll never know. So, I mean, on that part,
there was mistakes made.
Most likely, yes.
I mean, you can't sit here and deny it. I mean,
No, I'm not.
I mean, I'm sitting there looking at this report, and I mean, I read everything. And here's the thing too. What Vernon prints in the paper that did you read? Please tell me you read the article.
I read it. I mean, I don't have it committed to memory, but I read it.
But why would you make a statement that I can't guarantee this case will ever be solved? First of all, you should never make that comment. Second of all, you shouldn't say that the clothes weren't relevant to the case. How aren't they not relevant? Please, somebody explain to me how you find a body that's dead and it's rolled in arson. The arson is what killed my daughter. You got male DNA, and you're going to sit there and tell me that the clothes weren't relevant? Please explain how they're not relevant.
I'm not going to explain to you that they're not relevant because I think they are relevant.
So, I mean, that's, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I've been working with you, and I've never hid nothing from you. I told you that.
Right.
But here's another thing. Ryan McFarland called me.
Okay.
In that conversation with Ryan McFarland, I asked him about digging up Mackenzie. Now, you know me better than anybody. I don't,
right.
If I catch you lying to me, you know what's going to happen. I've always told people that, right or wrong.
Right.
Okay. So, I asked him about the digging up of Mackenzie, and he said, well, we're waiting on some other things, you know, and we're working with him. And then he goes, oh, and by the way, Donald, he completely got off the subject. And, you know, when you switch like that, there's a reason you don't want to discuss that detail. Now, I've got you that wants Mackenzie brought up. I got the fire marshal wants Mackenzie brought up. I've got Dr. Mesker that's saying that needs to be done because guaranteed we're going to find something. So then I've got Children's Hospital that's waiting. But I got the sheriff's office that's not doing it. Why?
I think it's going to get done in pretty short order. I think we're just working on a date.
Well, I mean, I can go buy a shovel and help.
Well, no, I know, but it needs to be done the right way. So, I mean, I think we're just working on final coordination.
Okay.
So.
And then then Ryan McFarland said this to me, which upsetted me. He said the truck was my red flag. The pickup truck was a red flag to him. Now they know now I had the coroner's report that was missing. Because I did message Vernon and tell him I have it. I'm not going to hide it. I ain't got no reason to hide it because it just helps me. I'm sorry, but it does. It helps me. But Ryan McFarland said the truck was a red flag to him. But then he stated that maybe Marianne and Kenny came to the house and they really didn't know that there was a fire. And they honestly might not know that who did it. Okay, if that's true, come on, man, you're a prosecutor. You know what I'm going to ask you. If that's true, then why did Marianne and Kenny say all the stories they said?
Exactly. That's a very important question.
So why would you start trying to prove that they weren't there, that they might, what it tells me is you're going to try to waste another year or two saying, well, we're working on the truck now, and we're going to see if they really, come on, man. If that would have been Marianne and Kenny's best thing to say was, we weren't there. We came to the fire.
Right.
My house being on fire. And then Marianne would have, like we talked about, the only thing she would have been leaving a child at home.
Right.
Right. So if Marianne was very innocent of this, man, that would have been her best thing to say. Well, we just came home. We were out eating, and we just came home, and my house was on fire. That's not what they said. They said, and the very first statement they gave was to the Record-Herald the day of Mackenzie's fire. They said, we woke up to popping and crackling of smoke.
Right.
So now my next question is, if that's true, then why was the truck sitting in the middle of the road with the doors open and the truck running and her cell phone in the front seat? And then I've even got statements here where she's wrote to me in a Facebook statement and said, I called 911, and she did call 911.
Okay.
So all these lies that she's told understand why those two haven't been brought back in.
Well, I think they're gonna be, and I think I want to we need to get Mackenzie brought up. That's what needs to get done, and I think that's in the works.
Okay.
Once that gets done, or once we get that deadline, I think Brian's gonna let both you and Marianne know about the same time.
Okay.
So, and then we're gonna go from there.
Okay.
So let's get her up. Let's see if there's any DNA in there. See if there is anything, and there may be, there may not be. So
right.
But we don't know. We don't know until we do it.
But it still doesn't. I mean, it still doesn't answer for the mistakes that they made.
No, but I mean that's the cards that we have at this point in time.
Right.
I mean, yeah, whatever's been done, good or bad, I can't go back and change. We have to prosecute the case as it is.
Right.
If there were mistakes made, there were mistakes made, and we deal with it as a prosecutor's office. If they did everything right, then that makes our life easier. But sometimes our life is not that simple.
Right. Well, you know that there was mistakes made. The clothes being destroyed was one.
No.
Right.
I wish the clothes weren't destroyed, but I'm not worried about it being, mistakes made, not made. It's just a case. It's a factor of this case that we're going to have to deal with if we ever go to trial.
Well, why would this coroner's report, why did that come up missing?
I have no idea. That's Dr. Gay's record, and then it would become Dr. Metzger's record, and why it would have come up missing, I have no idea.
And then the next thing
that's questions you need to ask Dr. Metzger, because it's not mine to have kept.
Right. Because even Dr. Metzger told me, he said the last thing that was filed in Mackenzie's file was May 31st, 2006. But the order of the clothes being destroyed, this report right here was never filed in there.
Okay.
Saying, I mean, you got to understand my red flags. Do you understand my red flags?
I understand.
I'm looking at stuff that would be basically known facts that you're supposed to do with a crime scene and everything. And somebody with the length of time that Dr. Gay was a coroner and his experience, he would not have made these mistakes other than somebody wanting those mistakes to be done.
I don't know. I'm not going to say that because we're all capable of making mistakes, and whether he did or didn't or whatever the reasons for anything done, I don't know, and I don't think.
Got him.
Okay. That was the prosecutor. And pretty much all his bullshit. And this is the prosecutor. And he's not worried about mistakes being made. They're just going to go with what they got. They ain't got nothing. Like I said in Ryan, the video before with Ryan, why don't you take time to call me in or come to my house or sit down with me and see what all I got? But they don't want to do that. And the only reason they don't want to do that is because they know I have stuff that they don't have, and they can't explain why I have it and they don't. For all these years, we all know that live here in Fayette County. We all had heard it. We've seen it in the newspaper article that this was an ongoing investigation. And the thing of it is, and it don't make no sense whatsoever. And I want to read y'all something here real quick. This is out of the newspaper. It says, County Sheriff Vernon Stanford said Thursday that his office is making progress in the arson fire, which killed Mackenzie. We have taken DNA evidence from some of Mackenzie's family members and others close to Mackenzie, Stanford says. The evidence that we have could ultimately lead us in a new direction. So, this was wrote, let me show y'all, because I don't want anybody to think I'm just reading anything, but, whoops, let me see if I can get it where it clear up. There we go. There it is. There's what he said. But it hasn't yet. There is no suspect at this time, but we are hopeful that we can make even more progress. The lead investigator in this arson case was Deputy Philip Brown of the Sheriff's Office. Brown passed away late Tuesday night as a result of injuries he suffered in an April 8 car accident. Stanford said the Brown constantly reviewed the arson case. My family and I are deeply sorry for the loss of Detective Brown, Donald Branham said. Okay, but he sat there and he made that comment, and he made that comment Friday, April the 19th, 2013, so it would have been the 18th when he made that comment. That was back in 2013. That was a year after they figured out that the DNA sat for 6 years. So after it sat for 6 years, and then on the year of 2012, they realized they had DNA, and then they profiled it and everything. Then in 2013, he makes that comment. But he doesn't say anything about, so you know what that tells me? In 2013, they already knew it was a rape. Why are you collecting DNA? And then they said they ran all these family members, and we all heard the coroner say. Now, he said in this newspaper article, let me read it again, because I don't like to lie about nothing. He said in this newspaper article, right here, he said, from some of Mackenzie's family members, with an S, and others, with an S, close to Mackenzie, Stanford said. That's a lie, because I'm going to tell you why it's a lie. The coroner already told everybody, we already heard that evidence, that they only tested 3 people. I was one, and I already know the other 2, because BCI, when they first had Mackenzie case, slipped up and they put those 2 people's DNA results in my pile of evidence stuff when they gave me my stuff back. So I already know the 3 people. So what family members have been tested? Because Jamie already admitted, and I have that audio, that he wasn't tested. William, we know that the Kentucky State Police took his DNA because they had to get a court order to get it. But then when the Kentucky State Police, which I have that audio, which when he turned it over to Detective Brown, he don't know where it went from there. And we ain't heard nothing about the boyfriend's DNA. So, what family members, and if you remember what it says family members and others close to Mackenzie. I would love to see those test results, because I got my results. I got my letter that states they took my DNA and everything, but everybody I've accused ain't showed me shit. So, whose DNA did you take? Because I was one, and I am Mackenzie's family. The other 2 are not Mackenzie's family, and they were tested, and they came back negative. So that's 3, and that's out of the mouth of the coroner, that only 3 been tested, and I talked to the coroner in 2017. So, and you said this in 2013, Vernon. Alright, This is another one with the prosecutor.
Like I said, he was there building his heart. He admitted being there. I mean, you're admitting to being that conscious, but then no one followed up with like a lie detector because Ryan and me talked yesterday. He's like, well, I thought he took one. I said, no, he didn't take one. I already got the results from everybody.
We don't gain anything by telling him he is a person. We don't gain anything by that.
Right.
That's all it does. So, but I mean, I want to talk to the. I think that's what the BCI investigator is going to say. But I want to talk to him before I do anything. So.
Okay.
So he's not. Jamie is not excluded as a person of interest.
No.
No one's excluded.
No.
I mean,
Jamie is not excluded.
Right.
That's what the prosecutor's saying. See, that's the thing here, you guys. Am I still alive? I don't even know if I'm still alive.
You're
I'm 100 miles away.
I hope so. Am I still alive? I don't know if I am or not.
That is.
But he's saying nobody's exclusive, and Jamie's not exclusive. So if they're not, then why in the world is the sheriff's office saying there's no suspects? There's no person of interest. Jamie's the uncle. Hey, Kim, if you're on here, can you come down here and help me? I'm stuck. When I clicked on that weed, it went to both of them, but I can't bring up. We have the Ryan one, too. I want to hear that. I want people to hear that one, where it brings them all up. Okay, thank you. That'd be this one.
Bill may have put him in one of his desk drawers, and it just hasn't been cleaned out or something. Because, like you said, everything should have been in one spot. And I think Bill had that like that, but I don't know what John did afterwards.
So when John Hicks came into the case, you guys gave everything, well, it wasn't you, because I don't think you was done yet, right?
He might. I don't remember.
But when John Hicks came and got it, though, I mean, what I'm saying, though, is, did he take everything just like BCI did?
No, he worked on everything out of the office here. So he didn't come and get it taken anywhere. He worked on it out of the office.
Right. Okay, now, what about, like, the DNAs and stuff like that I was talking to you about? Are you guys going to wait on BCI now, or are you still working on that part with Christopher and Austin and Jamie Potter?
We'll see after we have the meeting.
I just asked him, are they still working on the DNA, collecting DNA from the family members? And this is 2017. And he said that we are still working on this. So they're still working on it. And he was going to wait on BCI before they do anything else.
We'll see after we have the meeting. And then we'll get that taken care of.
My question is, and this is a good question, it's an honest question, why are you waiting? I don't understand. There should not be no wait on this. Why are you waiting to go collect DNA from people that I gave you names of? That child was my daughter. I have every right to give up however many males I feel that might have had something to do with my daughter. And you're going to tell me, well, we're waiting on C after the meeting. They shouldn't be. He should have got off his ass and went that day and did what I told him to do. So, they're going to wait. I'm just going by. This is a lead detective. He's saying that they haven't done anybody in the family's DNA. I named 3 family members there. Vernon said they did. Who's lying? Who's telling the truth?
And I want you to clear this up for me. Rumors going around that there's other people clear to Mackenzie's death.
there hasn't been, as far as what?
Correct. I mean, they're not suspects in Mackenzie. All right, let me put it this way. Let's say the Potter family. Have you guys cleared the Potter family?
I don't think William's ever been cleared on it.
William Potter's never been cleared. He just said that.
What about Jamie and what about Jeremy? Kenny?
I'll have to go back and check everything again to make sure. But I know William did not pass his polygraph.
Right.
William did not pass his polygraph.
It was just inconclusive. They couldn't determine one way or another.
Yeah, and Jamie never had one done.
Are you sure about that?
Yep. Jamie Potter's never had a lie detector test done.
And then I just told him that Jamie Potter's never had a lie detector test, which Jamie admitted. He admitted live on one of my live feeds. Some of y'all seen it. I think, Sean, you were with me that night, and Sarah. And he admitted he has never been in there and had and took a lie detector test about the fire or about my daughter's death.
I've got all the lie detector test results.
I thought he did have one done, because I was just looking for...
He said, I thought that he did take one. No, he didn't take one because I have all the results from the lie detector test. So, right there, this is a case they're saying that they work on every day. It's an ongoing investigation, but they can't even remember if somebody took a lie detector test or not. The family ain't that big. There's only 3 males on that side of the family, and then the boyfriend. So, obviously, you would know who took a lie detector test, but we'll let it go on.
The other day, I thought I saw one.
Not in Mackenzie, because,
So what he's talking about there is, he said, well, I thought I saw one the other day. Yeah, he had to take a lie detector test on another issue, but not Mackenzie's. And I'm not going to go into that tonight, what lie detector test he had to take, because he didn't pass it, that test neither. But that's another issue. But by God, he should have been.
when I requested the lie detector test from BCI, and they gave me Williams, Marianne, Kenny's, mine, and that was the only one they said was sent there that took the lie detector test.
I know I saw several things with James' name on it, and I thought there was a exam on there.
Are you looking at it? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing I know was Detective Brown went out and talked to Jamie at his house. And that was as far as it went. And then after talking to people that were there when Detective Brown went and talked to him, Jamie didn't even really talk to him. All he did was shake his head, up and down. But for somebody, you know what I'm saying, for somebody to admit that they were there that night, you don't know what all his story is true or not about. You know what I'm saying? Because he says he left between 11:30 and midnight. We don't know that for sure.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Maybe that's something we need to look into then.
Maybe that's something we should look into, because he just saw it now. He's on a computer as we're talking, and he's pulling up stuff, and he noticed now that no, he hasn't took a lie detector test. But maybe we should look into that.
Because that's what I'm saying. His DNA was never taken. Lie detector test was never taken. And
His DNA was taken.
It was taken? His DNA was taken?
Yes, it was.
But no DNA's been, whatever you call that, what's that called? Where when you put it through there ain't nothing in the database.
Yeah, no, yeah. There's, right. There's no DNA in the database. That's
Right. So there's no DNA, so there's nothing really to run DNA with yet until unless something comes back from the exam, right?
right.
So in other words, William's DNA, Kenny's DNA, my DNA, and Jamie Potter's DNA that you guys have gotten so far hasn't been ran and cleared until we see what comes from the exam, right?
Right.
So then that means Jamie wouldn't be cleared, William wouldn't be cleared, Kenny ain't cleared from Kenzie's death until that's done.
Actually, I'm looking here. Jamie was interviewed twice by the fire marshals in Philly.
Okay.
That, I mean, it doesn't say anything, you know.
Right. But it hasn't had a lie detector test taken.
Well, I haven't got through all of it yet. It's all digital, so I gotta go through it.
Right.
For some reason, I thought I saw that.
Hold on, y'all, because it's about to happen. It's about to kick off here in a minute. Hold on.
No, must not have. So, I mean, that's something we can do.
Right. So he hasn't had a lie detector test taken, and his DNA hasn't been ran yet to see if anything hits on Mackenzie's on the DNA, if there is any DNA from the exhumer, right?
Yeah, we've got DNA and stuff like that, but, you know, that doesn't, more of a, just beforehand, just make sure we were able to get things.
Right. So then that means William ain't been cleared, Jamie ain't been cleared, and Kenny ain't been cleared yet.
Well, Kenny and Mary Ann both passed their polygraph.
Right. Yeah, they passed it, but they're they're still involved. Anybody can pass a lie detector test. Correct?
I don't give them a polygraph test, so I don't know what the, I don't know a lot about that. I know it can't be used in court because it's an investigative tool.
Right.
But I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I'm not trained on that. I can sit here and give you.
Well, I just wanted to clear up the rumor that the Potter family has not been cleared of Mackenzie's death.
As far as polygraph goes, William his was inconclusive, and then Jamie has not had one.
Had one done yet.
Right. So what we'll do is we'll have this meeting. We'll see what comes of that, and I think maybe that's one of the things that we get done.
So then, in other words, that side of the family are still persons of interest.
Well, I don't know if they're persons of interest. It's one of those things where there's so many people that could be involved, but they haven't taken a polygraph test.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know if they didn't tell Phil anything that he thought was contrary. I don't know why he didn't have. I just can't say that. I don't want to speculate on why Phil didn't have anything done or Phil didn't do theirs because I can't say.
Okay.
He's sitting right there and he's saying, I don't know why that wasn't done. I can't believe that ain't been done. But we're going to wait till after that meeting, and then we're going to have it done. Guess what? It ain't been done. Still hasn't been done today. And we're in the year of 2019. No, Sean. That was Ryan McFarland again. That was the leading detective. That was the leading detective there. Jesse Wee was the one before. This one that we just went through about the Potter family and who failed a lie detector test and All this, that was Ryan McFarland that I have on here now.
I'm still, me and my wife are the only two actually cleared of Mackenzie's death.
Well, the only way you've been cleared the same way everybody else is. The others have been cleared by polygraph.
Right.
Yeah. So, we'll have this meeting and we'll figure out what's going on and we'll do what we need to do from there.
Right. Well, that's why I just wanted to clear up, because from the Mary Ann's side of the story that I'm hearing is they have been cleared. The whole family's been cleared, and I know they haven't been because I know they haven't. There's stuff that ain't even been done yet.
Well, the thing is, the speculation and rumors, she can say whatever she wants to say. She goes out there and says, well, everybody's been cleared except for Donald. There's nothing we can do to stop her from saying that. So you just don't pay a lot of attention to that kind of stuff, because who knows where it's going to go,
Right.
It's just somebody saying what they feel like they need to say.
Okay. Alright, well, like I said, that's what I wanted to check with you. And
Okay.
we'll get on then after you have that meeting, then we'll see where we go from there of getting Jamie a lie detector test taken. He said you got his DNA. He got William's DNA. So all we gotta do then is and then Christopher and Austin.
Yep. And we'll be where we need to be.
Alright,
He said, yep, we'll be right where we need to be. Yep, that's where we'll be. And guess where we're at today? Still no lie detector test, and still no DNA ran. 2 years later. 2 years later, and nothing still hasn't been done. This is why, you guys, I do what I do. This is why I do the live feeds. This is why I try to show you all what's going on with my daughter's case. And I saw my mom posted something on there, and I understand what my mom's trying to say there. She said about that baby that died there, and, unfortunately that child died, and it's sad, what happened there. But like my mom's saying, it's been all over the news. It's been all over the media, stories about it. You name it, it's been done. But here's a little child, 8 years old, that we know for a fact was raped, that was murdered, set on fire, and they ain't done a damn thing with this case. And I'm sitting here telling you, I'm showing you guys all this audio that I recorded people talking to me, and all it is a bunch of bullshit, uneducated, unqualified people in this town. They have no idea what to do, have no idea how to handle a murder case. That's the truth. And for me, that has an 8th grade education, can go out here and do their job for them, collect all this evidence, give it to them. And that's the thing. They can't sit there and say, well, no, he's exposed everything to the social media. That's bullshit, because you know what? A year before I started the live feeds and started talking about this stuff was already out. This stuff was already given to them before anybody in this community knew what I had. It was already given to them. And they didn't do nothing with it. So I said, you know what? That ain't going to happen with me. So then that's when I started sharing all this evidence, all these videos, all these tape recordings with the community. And you're right, Lisa. I don't know why. I mean, seriously, I have no clue why this story isn't out there about this little girl. I have no clue on that. Like I said, you guys can go on YouTube, you can go on Facebook, you can go on all these things and see these stupid shit. And there'll be millions of people that saw it. But a little child's death, a little girl that was raped, a justice system that failed her, nobody wants to hear about that. Nobody wants to see about that. They just want to keep it all quiet. Hold on, somebody's knocking at my door. Somebody just knocked on our door and then took off.
Is there a package or anything out there?
No. Somebody banged on the door and then they ain't out there. They ran. I don't know why they ran, motherfuckers. I'll come outside. Just because it's snowing and I'm in my PJs don't mean I won't go outside. It's on YouTube. Sean did that already. Sean's already has all kinds of videos on YouTube and it ain't gone nowhere. Somebody just came and banged all over my door and then took off running. I don't know who it is, but I don't really give a rat's ass. Donald, they pay to get it put to the internet. Facebook charges and they will send it out all over the world. It's like $5 a month. Once you build your people, you can drop the subscription. Maybe it's on. As long as he's been going live, this should be viral by now. Amen. Every live feed he has done is on YouTube. Follow the footprints. I ain't gonna follow them footprints. Track their footprints. That's alright, man. I don't care. It's somebody. Who knows? Wish it was Kenny Mossbarger. That would make my day. So, let's see. I'm trying to think what else I could... Because I don't want to... I've been trying to keep this going every other day so that way everybody's fresh with everything. Let's see. We heard... Well, we got the commissioners here. I'll probably save that one with the commissioners where I go in there and plead to them about what's going on and pretty much get the same runaround. I'm trying to think. Let me look over here and see what we got over here. Alright, back to like I said with the thing. Here's the thing, man. This is why I'm so pissed about the lie detector test and not being questions about my daughter. Because right here, you guys can see there's a picture of my daughter. I'm sorry that she's turned around. But this is a photograph that I got. This is the picture that was taken of my daughter the day of her death. They took it at school that morning, and then she died that night. And the story behind this is, I was sitting there one day putting all my daughter's photographs on a board. And I'm one of these that believe that, people do talk to people. And my daughter kept saying, Dad, look at my picture. And like I said, I was putting a whole bunch on a board. A bunch. And I was like, I don't know, what are you trying to say to me, Mackenzie? She said, look at my photographs. And I kept looking at them. And then I noticed, right here, you guys can see it. And the bad part about it, this is just a video, and you can see already, you can see the cut on her arm right there. That's a cut on her arm. Alright, and when I saw that, I called the sheriff's office, and I said, man, my daughter's got injury on her arm. Vernon's like, well, we'll go take them, and we'll go get them blown up, and we'll see what it is. Here's another picture of it, of the injury on her arm, and that's what he told me he was going to go do, was blow it up. So then I figured out, well, I ain't heard nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I don't know what's going on. So I took it upon myself just this year to go do it myself. So I went to Downtown Photos with the photograph, and I asked them if they could help me. And of course, they knew who I was and everything. So when I did, here's her elbow. This is marks on her elbow right here. It extends from here to here. And this mark I didn't see in the picture back here. But the lady that was blowing up the photographs did. And this is her elbow. Well, you can't see it here. It's cut off. But her elbow was right here in the picture. And I didn't even recognize it. I didn't even have a clue. But I did see bruises down here on her arm, on her wrist right there, bruises. So, like I said, I had the lady blow them up. So that's what she did. She blew them up, and she's the one, and there's the bruises, and then there's the mark right there on her arm. That's on her arm. There's her elbow bending up. There's the bruise on her arm and stuff, and bruises all down her arm. And it looks better on when you look at a photograph. But these pictures were taken, like I said, the day that she died. And when I brought it to their attention, it was in 2008. 2008 is when I brought it to their attention about my daughter's school picture with just that one mark that I saw on her. So if Vernon would have blew up the pictures like he said he did, then he would have seen all the marks on that arm. And you can't really see her other arm. Even in the photograph, it's behind a fence. But then it came to me that there was 2 pictures taken that day. The first picture, my daughter didn't smile in it. She wasn't smiling. The second picture, the guy, and it was something else because when I went and did this just a few months ago, when I went and had these pictures blown up, when I went and talked to him, he was actually the photographer that day, back in 2006. And he said he remembers that day because my daughter was the only one coming in to do a makeup picture because she missed the first picture day. And she wouldn't smile, so he joked around with her until she would smile. So that tells me there was something going on at my daughter's school. Then on top of that, you see all the marks on her and everything. And it falls right back to what I said. You're telling me that you didn't have no suspects, you ain't got no suspect, you ain't got no person of interest. There's only 2 people that live in that house. 2 people lived in that house with my daughter. You got a rape, you got an arson, you got a murder, you got abuse, and you're telling me you ain't got no person of interest and no suspect. Because let me put it this way. Somebody hurt my little girl that day. Yes, Window, she died that night. That's her school picture that day. That morning, she took her school picture. I think he said it was at 11 o'clock. It's on the back of the picture. 11 o'clock, that day she took her school picture. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, she was murdered. So, why haven't they brought, like I said, why didn't they do a lie detector test about my daughter? Have you ever touched her? Have you ever done anything sexual with her? Have you locked her in the closets? Have you locked her in a bedroom? Did you take your hand and cover over her mouth? Did you do this? Nothing, man, about my child. All about the fire. Well, let me put it this way. If I didn't set the fire, I would pass the fire lie detector test. But if I did something to that little girl, I'm not going to pass that lie detector test. So, this is a hard thing for any parent to go through. And it's been hard. It's been tough on me and my family. But, like I said, the thing that makes me upset more than anything is, like I said, I sit here and I watch my live feeds with you guys, and I relive this every day. I go through this every day. And I look at my live feeds and I see 29 people on here watching. And I know right now, like I said, in Fayette County, ain't nobody outside riding around. Ain't nobody driving around. We got almost 4 or 5 inches of snow out there. I think it's still snowing. And so nobody's out doing anything. And I got 29 people watching this live feed. And I got over 3,000 friends on my friends list. But then you get people that also afraid to put their name up there because of who they work for or what they do for a living. And they're afraid to expose their name. But why? Like I said, this ain't about me. This is about Mackenzie Taylor Branham. This is about a little girl that was murdered and raped. You know, and the thing about it is, and not taking this in a bad way, but I could have lived and not have been as hard with just the arson that killed my daughter. But man, when you find out that your daughter was raped, and you got to think about, this is a kid that was 8 years old. This is a child only 8 years old. And some man put his private inside my daughter. And it's a disgrace that this community doesn't care. And that this sheriff's office doesn't care. But if it was their daughter, and they were a sheriff deputy, I guarantee you they wouldn't worry about money. Remember my last live feed where it was all about cost. You know, everything costs, so we don't want to do this. I have never in my life heard such a thing. That you got to pay to have something done. You got to have paid for something to... Are you serious? Seriously? Cost is the reason nothing's being done on my daughter's death? It's all about money? I don't understand that. I don't understand how a murder and a rape of a child, that money should even be involved. All I know is I guarantee you my little girl was crying. I guarantee you my little girl was hurting. I guarantee you my little girl wanted me, her daddy. And somebody took all that away for pleasure. For pleasure. They had to quiet my daughter. And by quieting her, they had to set her on fire. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care that the mom passed a lie detector test or not. Guarantee you ask her questions about my daughter, she won't pass. But I can tell you one thing about my daughter. I guarantee you she wasn't peaceful, like the mom says. I guarantee you she didn't die peaceful. And that she didn't feel anything. That's what the mom said. You know, she was ready to go see God and she was peaceful and she knows that she didn't suffer. That's what she said. My daughter didn't suffer. I don't know how any mother out there could say that a child didn't suffer when you got a grown-ass man on top of them sticking their private inside of my little girl. So I don't know where in the hell she got that from, that she don't think my daughter suffered. And I don't know how you would think my child didn't suffer when she was sitting up there in her bed and the smoke and the carbon monoxide was sucking her life out minute by minute until she took her last breath. How can you sit there and say that your child did not suffer? And then how can you be a sheriff and look into me in my face and say, I have no person of interest? Man, you'd have a person of interest if a mom's telling you a child that was raped and murdered and set on fire didn't suffer. She'd be the first suspect. Yeah, that was mine too. I ain't never seen no 8-year-old I mean, my daughter was 8, now she's 12, and she ain't never come to me and said, Dad, I'm ready, and goes to church. She goes to church all the time, and she don't never come to me and say, Dad, I'm ready to go see God. I ain't never had a child ever in my life do that. Yeah, she's still with that piece of shit. Yeah, he's the one that said that told my son if I kept doing these live feeds and kept doing these stories that he was going to come to Washington Courthouse and close my mouth. That's why I was hoping that was him that knocked on the door. Because that's what he said he was going to do. He's going to come and close my mouth. I would love to see that day come. But like I said, you guys, I played them. You know, even though the mom said on that one text message she sent my son the other day that I fabricated these and I made all these tapes up and the videos and the pictures and all this stuff I did. I made it. It's fake. It's fake. No, the only thing that's fake is her ass. She's the fake one. But, you know, even though I have a small amount on here watching these live feeds, you know, and you guys share it, I thank God that thank you, you know, you guys share these live feeds with people and everything and stuff. But, you know, it's sad, man. It's really sad. And I'm going to be honest. I will be honest with something. I will be honest. Okay? And do not take this in the wrong way. Do not take this in the wrong way. But I guarantee you, if it was her asking for help, and, you know, like my daughter died in my house. Let's just say my daughter died in my house. Let's just turn the tables. I'll just say it that way. If we turn the tables and it was a mom doing a live feed and she was pleading to the community about needing help and trying to put the dad away for murdering and raping her child, I guarantee you there'd be millions of viewers. Millions of viewers. I guarantee you there would be millions of viewers. And that's sad that our world has come to that. That a man that also brought a child into this world, that loved this child every day of his life, that fought for custody of his kids, never walked away from them, is treated the way I'm treated. Because I'm not saying this in a bad way. And you're right, Sarah. I'd be in prison already. And you know what? I'd be in prison just for the circumstantial evidence. I wouldn't be in prison for facts. I'd be in circumstance. But I'm just being honest that if that was her on here and she was pleading, everybody would be like, oh my God, this poor mom. Oh my God, what is she going through? You know, carrying that baby for 9 months, and man, some asshole perverted motherfucker, you ought to burn in hell, hang his ass, you know, take him out in the woods and shoot him. You know, all that would be said. I mean, and that's the truth. All that would be said if it was reversed and it was her asking for the help and it was me being the one that did this crime. And that is so sad, but so true, that there would not be 30 people, I guarantee, on her Facebook. There would be 1 million watching this mother pour out her heart and soul. And everybody on there would be, I mean, seriously, y'all would be on, everybody would be. And I'm saying me too. I mean, because when you see a woman doing it, it is a little different. But you would be on there saying, man, they ought to hang that, burn that son of a bitch. He ought to have the same thing done to him. All them prison boys in there will fucking rape his ass. You guys would be saying that through your whole damn live feed if it was her on here. But because it's not her, and it's a man, and it's a father, we look at it differently. Let me put it this way. Every man and every woman cries out of the same eyes. We all have tears. I have tears. I cry. I have a heart. it breaks. I have a stomach, it hurts. I have a brain, a memory. We went to court 71 times. 71 times she tried to get custody of my kids. 71 times. Sean and Sarah Wilson, they know this because they've seen it. I mean, it's a stack this thick. And then the other county, I went 13 times. So 71 in Fayette County, 13 in Montgomery County. She tried to get custody of my kids, and she lost every one of them. And she had an attorney on every one. She's had different attorneys. Sean and Sarah can vouch for this. They've seen the paperwork. She's had, I mean, hell, she had an attorney that actually worked for the state's attorney general's office out of Cincinnati. And the day I met that attorney, which was the last court hearing we went to, I even told that attorney, I said, you're wasting your time. You are not going to win. I will beat you. And that attorney took me into a private room and tried to do a plea bargain. How about we do this? And I looked at her, and you know what I told her? And this is God's honest truth, my hand to God. I told her, kiss my ass. We're going to trial. And we went to trial. I'm just going to fill you guys in on this last one. We went to trial. While we were in trial, the mom asked for a continuance, and her lawyer. And when we went to trial, the last day we went to trial, the judge ordered her to do a psychiatric evaluation and something else. And we went to trial. I get off the elevator, and I looked at her lawyer. Her lawyer was sitting there, and I said, where's your defendant? And she said, oh, she's in Kentucky. Her dad had a heart attack, and he's getting a pacemaker put in. The thing of it is, her dad already had the pacemaker put in 2 years prior to this hearing. And I said, oh, really? I said, I said, do me a favor. I said, why don't you go on Facebook right now? Because remember, we're at a custody hearing. We're at the final custody hearing. She was supposed to take a psychiatric evaluation. I have all the paperwork. And I said, your client is not in Kentucky. She said, yes, she is, and argued with me. And I said, no, get on Facebook. I said, pull her name up. And she did. The lawyer did. And there she was at Walt Disney World in Florida. At Walt Disney World in Florida, that's where she was. And her lawyer still went in the courtroom and still told the first story to the judge. And then I told the judge, no, objection, Your Honor. She is not in Kentucky. Her lawyer knows she's not in Kentucky. And he had a computer in front of him, and I told him to pull it up. And it was funny because when he pulled it up, her Facebook page, she just posted a picture of Kenny and his son getting off of a ride. She's in Florida at Walt Disney World on the same day of a custody hearing that we knew 2 months in advance, in Florida with her boyfriend and his son, instead of being in Montgomery County in a custody hearing for her own 2 kids. That is the God's honest truth, and I have it. I have the paperwork and everything. Matter of fact, when we went to court, when I discussed you guys all about the where the mom kidnapped my son, which they call it interfering with custody. When we went to that hearing to get my son back, that judge, it was even on their court docket about her missing court and going to Kentucky or Florida to Walt Disney World. And that judge said, there ain't no way in the world I can give you your kids. Walt Disney World was more important than being there at a custody hearing for her 2 kids. And of course, me with no lawyer, and I've never had a lawyer, walked out of there with my 2 sons. And I went home, and I raised my 2 sons. They both graduated. They're both out on their own. That's all I got to say. She's had a lawyer every time. She had a lawyer out of Mason, Ohio. She had a lawyer out of Greenfield. She had 6 lawyers in Washington Courthouse. And she had the one out of Lebanon, Ohio. And then she had one out of Cincinnati. And I even had the letters from her lawyers where they said, I quit her. You know, wasn't going to represent her no more. And I tell them every time I see these lawyers, every time I saw them, I would walk in and say, you're not going to win. Because your client lies, I'm going to prove her lies, and I'm going to walk out here with my kids. And I have every time walked out with my children. 71 times in Fayette County, 13 times in Montgomery County, and I have my kids, and my boys have graduated now and became men. That's all I got to say. Matter of fact, how does she afford an attorney? Good question, Rose. I have those letters. She owes money. She owes these attorneys money that represented her. But she got money to get them. So, like I said, that tells you right there. Well, you know, here's a point too, you know. Excuse me. She didn't care to go to a custody hearing. She didn't care about her boys when her daughter was murdered. She was in Myrtle Beach sipping on wine at a $1,000 condo looking at the ocean. She didn't care that her 2 sons were back here in Ohio knowing that their sister was just murdered and wanting mom and dad. But that tells you right there, she chose this man over her own children. And that's something you never do. But she chose that man. She still lays in that bed and looks at this man that didn't even attempt to save her child if it was an accident and if they didn't know that someone set the fire. She didn't even. She will still lay in that bed and look at this man and say, I love you. And I showed you all her photograph, her recent photograph, where they're at a ball game together. And that's what I said. She is a sick individual. And I ain't lying when I say that. She is a sick individual. She could care less about that child. And you know, my biggest thing too, my question is, if she was such a perfect mom, and you're laying in bed with a man that didn't even try to save your kid, didn't even try, and lie about it, and even lie about saving her, and you know now he lied. Now you know he lied about saving her. How in the world can you lay in that bed and stare at that tattoo of my daughter on his chest? How can you sit there and lay in that bed and look at that man across from you and stare at the tattoo of your dead daughter on his chest that didn't even try to save your daughter, who lied about trying to save your daughter? That tells me everything I need to know about you as a parent. That tells me everything about you as a parent. Just how sick of a person you really are. That you would sit there and lay in a bed with a man with a photograph of your child on his chest. And that man didn't even try. And then on top of that, even on top of that, being a fireman. Being a volunteer fireman. He's a volunteer fireman. Didn't even attempt to save your child. Didn't even attempt to save your child. and you lay in that bed looking at him with your dead child's face on his chest, and you can still have the nuts to sit there and tell him you love him, but I'm an asshole for trying to get justice for your child. Trying to get justice, and I'm the asshole. I had that photograph. Pop right there. And see, this is her page. This is her page. This is the mom's page. This is her page right here. There's that tattoo he put of my child on him. Right there. On his chest. And then that's what she wrote under it. That's what the mother wrote under it. Another shot of it. I love it. Right there is the tattoo of my daughter on his chest. But I'm the asshole. I'm the piece of shit. I'm the one they try to take to court and shut down my live feeds. Because I'm telling the truth of what's facts and what's truth. And you're right, Holly. She has never tried to find out who did this. She has never tried to, no, I mean, here's the thing. If she didn't do it, and this is what I've said a million times, if she didn't do it, she knows who did. Because you know who was in your house. Nobody broke into this house. There was no forced entry into this house. None. So you know who was in your house. Then on top of that, you had a dog. You had a dog. I sent stuff to John Walsh. I sent stuff to Nancy Grace. I have sent emails, pictures, stories. All of it's been sent to them. You know, and I sit there and I think about how in the world, if you are so innocent of this crime, man, how are you not fighting for your child? How are you not? I mean, you're the only one that knows who was in your house. Y'all had a dog that would attack anybody that come in that house. So, I don't care what Vernon says. Vernon can sit there. Hell, he probably slept with my ex-wife. He probably did. So, because there is no way in anybody's right mind that this sheriff can stand there in front of me and tell me I ain't got no person of interest. When that mom has showed 1,000,000 to 1 actions that mother's guilty. And I'm going to tell you right now, my mom knows this. She's on here. There's a story about a mom that killed 3 kids in a house fire. They had no evidence at all. But because of the actions of the mother and the circumstantial evidence they had, this mother is sitting in prison for the rest of her life for killing 3 of her kids in a house fire. And when I brought that up to the prosecutor, and I think I even have that tape, you know what he told me? Well, find that story for me so I can read it. All right, find the story and bring it to you so you can read it. Are you kidding me? Those 2 knuckleheads over there in Tip City don't love each other. Those 2 over there in Tip City have a secret to what happened that night. And that's the only reason they got to stay together. Because, you know, back before my daughter died, you know, she asked, I think twice, I think Sean seen them. Twice she gave me disillusion papers. And I signed them. Gave her the money, signed them, didn't get it. And then the last time that she did it was, y'all heard it when she came a year after Mackenzie's murder, when she came into the bar where I taped her, when she talks about the fire and all that, and Kenny interrupts her. She brought me disillusion papers that day. And I signed them. And gave her the money. And I still didn't get it. This is God's honest truth. I have it right here in my file. I did not get divorced from that woman until January 20th, 2011. I begged and begged them courts for a divorce here in Fayette County. I did not get my divorce until she took the case to Montgomery County, because she thought by doing it in Montgomery County, Mackenzie would never be talked about. Well, of course, that didn't happen. And then the first day in court, January 20th, 2011, that judge looked down and said, "Oh my gosh, you're still married?" I said, "Yes." I said, I filed my divorce in 1999. 1999 is when I filed for a divorce. And I was granted my divorce January 20th, 2011. Yep, Holly, we've done everybody. 2020, cold case file, Dr. Phil. I talked to Dr. Phil on the phone. That didn't go. Half of these, the reason they didn't do the story, and I'll be honest with you guys, half of these did not do the story because when they notified the mother, she refused to go on any of these shows. She refused to go on Dr. Phil. She refused to go on Steve Wilkos. She refused to go on those shows against me. So, like I said, who do we think we would be the best to crack this case open? Donald Branham. That's the best one to crack the case open. But it's just, I'm just showing you guys that, no matter what I do, I mean, and you guys have seen all this. Some of you have lived a couple years through this with me, and I've seen Sean and I've seen his wife, man, cry in my daughter's investigating bedroom. I mean, I've seen it, man. And I sit there and I watch strangers, and I don't mean strangers in a bad way. And somebody threw a smiley face out there. But I haven't seen strangers, but these people cry worse than she ever has. And my cassette tape, I was going to play it for you. Me and my wife tried to fix it. My daughter's funeral tape, the tape actually snapped, and we were going to try to put it back on the wheel. Of course, it didn't work. And so everybody could hear the funeral. Because there's stuff in that funeral that makes sense too. But I didn't get it fixed yet. I'm hoping to get it fixed. But I can guarantee you guys one thing, and I'm not exaggerating here. I'm not trying to make a joke out of this or anything, but I guarantee you with everything I have, everything I've got, I guarantee you, if I walked into a indictment jury panel, I could get an indictment, and there would be an arrest made. I mean, you don't take 12 years and you don't build all this up in 12 years. You don't do it. You don't investigate a child's homicide. You don't do it. This is nothing. This is hardly anything, man. I mean, I got totes and totes and totes of stuff. They're my Debbie snack, my icy hot. But you don't do it. You don't sit there and build up something so, and then turn around. All right, Holly. But I can guarantee you, man, with the evidence I got, and the sad part about it, not only did the evidence show enough circumstantial evidence of who's behind my daughter's death, But then you got the DNA, and as soon as somebody hits that, now we got solid evidence. We got fact evidence. We've got circumstantial evidence. But not only that, then we got everybody that screwed up on this case that's in trouble. But like I said, when you look at it, I have under investigation today. Today, as I sit here and talk to you guys, we have the murder of Mackenzie under an investigation. We have the rape of Mackenzie under an investigation. We have the arson of Mackenzie under investigation. We have the headstone and 2 plaques and an angel stolen from her gravesite of Mackenzie under investigation. We have a letter that was mailed here to this house that has DNA on it, still under an investigation. We have a ladder missing, clothes destroyed, hair samples destroyed, tapes missing, still under an investigation. How can you have that many stuff under an investigation? And a lot of this stuff happened at different times. But we have all that under an investigation. And I guarantee you, if you solve one investigation, you're going to solve the other one. And then you're going to solve the next one. And then that's the only reason none of these have been solved. Because just like the headstone, they know who took that headstone. They know who stole my daughter's headstone from her grave. If they arrest her, then they've got her. Then they work on the other stuff. But it'll never happen. So all this stuff with my daughter is going to stay unsolved. Bullshit. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm not saying this in a joking way, you just met your match. You just met the best investigator, the best lawyer, the best crime detective, the best sheriff, the best prosecutor you're ever going to see in Fayette County. You heard them on that tapes tonight saying, well, we'll get to that. Or I'm waiting on this. Or we might see into that. Or we might do this later. 13 years, I mean, how much more time do you need? I just hope one day that I'm sitting here and I do a live feed, that it actually catches somebody that has the license and the degrees and stuff and says, oh my gosh, I want to go to the courthouse and help this man. That's what I'm hoping for. That's why I do these live feeds and stuff, that I'm hoping one day somebody out there will say, I want to help this father. And, you know, like I said, and I didn't, and I'm sorry, you guys, I'm absolutely sorry. I didn't mean this, but I'm just saying, you know, if this was her on here, man, I'd be in prison. But she would have so much help. So many people. You couldn't stop the donations. I mean, like I said, she collected almost between $30,000 and $40,000 in donations when this first happened. And this is a fact, known fact. Her boyfriend even walked in. There is a place next to where I work that they did a money jar. And I wasn't there. I didn't even know they set this jar up. Nothing. This is a fact. The boyfriend walked into there, picked that money jar up, started to walk out with that jar. Somebody stopped him and said, what are you doing? He said, I'm Rick Branham. I'm Mackenzie's father. And the girl said, no, you're not. We know Rick Branham. And some of y'all on here, I go by Rick. I go by Donald. Most people know me by Rick. A lot of people through Mackenzie knows me by Donald. But he picked that jar up and they took it from him. And then we called the police. We called the police. Police came out, made a police report. Even got the video of Kenny standing in there taking the money jar, saying that he was me. And they lost the tape. Go figure, right? Go figure. They lost the tape. Then there's an incident that happened out at Walmart where two guys approached me. Well, one guy approached me. One guy hid behind the clothing. And that guy told me, he kept telling me he babysitted my daughter. And he kept acting like I should know who he is. And I kept saying, you ain't never babysitted my daughter. And I knew that because I had custody of her. And I always was with her since she was a baby, when she first came home from the hospital, when I went to the shelter. So I knew he didn't babysit her. And me and my wife walked outside. I said, let's walk outside because something just don't seem right here. And these guys came out, jumped in a car, took off. Well, then I call the sheriff's office, tell them what happened, everything. They come out. They got the video, everything. About 3 months went by. I called about it. I called and asked, what's going on? Did you find these people? Because with a guy saying that he babysitted my child, a guy, I'm like, man, But then I called, and they said, well, we checked into it. We didn't find nothing out about it. All right, whatever. I had the tag number. We gave them the tag number, make and model of the vehicle, what the guys look like and everything. Turned around, and I called Vernon up, and I said, look, man, what's going on with that guy that approached me in Walmart and told me he watched my daughter? Because this is now when I found out about Mackenzie being raped. And he said, well, we don't know where the tape is. We don't know what Detective Brown did with it. They lost the tape from Walmart. This is another tape. They lost the tape from Walmart, and they lost the report. Don't even have the report. But Vernon tells me, well, I looked at the video, and the guys didn't go in that truck. They went around it and got into another car. All right. So you said you watched the video. Can I have the video? Well, we lost it. We don't know where it's at. They literally lost another video. So then, I think it was about a year ago, you guys? Sean knows. But some guy got on there and he said that I posted pictures of my daughter for my own pleasure. My pictures of my daughter where she's dead. And I was doing it for pleasure, and that I was a sicko and something else. Well, I thought, man, I wonder who this guy is. Well, somebody saw it and then sent it to me. I said, man, I want to find out who this guy is. So as soon as I clicked on a picture, I threw up my hands. I looked at my wife and I said, oh my gosh, Kim. She's like, what? I said, look, it's the guy from Walmart. All these years trying to find him. Then I find out when I investigate this guy that his dad was a tier 3 sexual predator who raped his own daughter, got her pregnant, and the county took him off the pedophile list in 2009. Then I find out that he raped his daughter, but then my daughter was raped in 2006, and they never checked that guy's DNA with Mackenzie's DNA. And the reason I'm saying this is because he's Kenny's cousin. He's the boyfriend's cousin. Well, see, that's the thing. We got a coroner dead. We got a detective dead. We got a grandfather dead. We got a sergeant dead. And we can't go and question him. And Vernon knows that. So that's what Vernon says. Well, I don't know if he did or filed it or didn't file it. Or I don't know why he didn't do this. Or why. We can't talk to them now. They're dead. So we can't, they can't answer from the grave. That's what I hear all the time now. Right there. is now they're dead, so they can't get nothing. They can't find out where this is. They can't. Quit blaming the dead. Quit blaming the dead. I wish the dead was alive. I just told my mom, me and my mom talk all the time. I just told my mom, I said, man, I wish today those 3 people were alive when I started investigating my daughter's case. And then I could go to them and say, what the fuck? I wish, more than anything, those 3 people were alive today. Because I'd be all in their ass, just like I am in everybody else's ass that's touched this case. But that's what I'm saying, man. Too much stuff going wrong down here in Fayette County, and nobody cares because it was one child, and that child belongs to Donald Branham. I didn't grow up here. I wasn't raised here, so people don't really know me. You know, the mom did, and that's what I said, and that's why I apologize tonight. But I'm not saying saying it in a rude way at all. I'm just saying if it was her and the tables were reversed, everybody would be helping her. That GoFundMe would probably be $1 million. And it's sad to say that. Because everybody would make sure that mother that they felt so bad for and so sorry for got help to get this case going. And I just don't, I think that's so unfair because, like I said, it ain't about me, it's about Mackenzie. And Mackenzie is a little child. I'm her voice. I'm the one speaking for her. I'm the one telling you guys her story. You know, I sit there and I watch all these shows too, like, what is her name? That blonde chick, the blonde chick, with the short hair. Man, what's her name? Ellen DeGeneres or whatever. I sit there and I watch, man. I sit there and watch her show, watch everything they post on YouTube and videos and this and that. I've even wrote her a letter, the whole 9 yards, to see if I could get help. Nothing. Steve Harvey wrote a letter. Nothing. Dr. Phil wrote a letter. Nothing. John Walsh wrote a letter. Nothing. Nancy Grace wrote a letter. Nothing. Steve Wilkos wrote a letter, got back with me, personally called me on the phone. Now, I have to say, Steve Wilkos personally called me on the phone, and he told me that he would love to have done the show, but the mom refused. The mom refused to go on there and do a lie detector test and answer, and the boyfriend. They both refused to go on Steve Wilkos. But he did call me on the phone personally to tell me that. Oh, I have. I have sent videos. We have sent my live feeds. We have sent exactly what you all see. We have sent this. You guys don't understand. There's 2 women in Canada. There's me, my wife, friends of my family. We have sent videos. I mean, you don't even understand all what we have done. And nothing. I can't even get Channel 6, Channel 10, or Channel 4, or Channel 7 news to come to my house and do here. But they'll come to my house because Channel 6 News did this. They'll come to my house and call me a cyber bully. They call me a cyber bully and put it on the news. But they won't put on the news. Channel 6 News refuses to put on the news that my daughter was raped. But they'll come to my house, interview me, and call me a cyber bully. So, you know, I mean, all I can do is do what I do right now, and that's keep telling my story, keep sharing everything with you guys. Hoping that you guys will share these videos and other people will see them and watch them. You know, I don't know what else to do. I really don't. 12 is Cincinnati. 9 and 5, I don't know where they're at. Yeah, you ain't going to see the abuse and rape. You're only going to see about the arson. That's what this whole thing was. Every year was about fire, fire, the fire, the fire, the fire. And that's not what happened here. The rape is the crime. The rape's the crime. But can't get it out there. Can't get no news people here to say, whoa, wait a minute, man, you know, show us, you know. I mean, I got the evidence. I got it. Everybody knows I got it. You know, but I don't know. Maybe the Fayette County Sheriff's Office called them up and said, stay away from Donald Branham's house. I have no idea. I do know last year they came to my house and called me a cyberbully on the news. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. That's right. The fire happened to cover the crime. That's 100% right, Sarah. So, you guys, I enjoyed everybody being on here, you know. You know how I am, too. I like, because I'm almost at my 4 hours, and then Facebook will be kicking me off anyway. But I want to play a song. If you guys can pump hearts for my little baby girl. The ones that are on here, the ones that care. I know right now I'm at 34. I know by the time the song plays and that, it'll probably be only about 16 on here. But I'm going to play her songs, and we're going to go from there. I appreciate it. Thank you, you guys.
I wanna be a part of somebody finding love, somebody finding love unfailing. I wanna be a part, I wanna be a part of somebody finding life, somebody finding life everlasting. I wanna play a part, I wanna play a part of somebody finding hope, somebody finding hope in God of heaven. It's my desire, Lord, you would use me, change somebody else's destiny. I wanna be a part, I wanna be a part of somebody else's story, somebody else's story of redemption. I wanna be the one, I wanna be the one to shine the light of Jesus into their darkness. So lead me to that someone, I pray. Lord, I wanna bring you glory in somebody else's story, somebody else's story. I wanna be a part, I wanna be a part. Somebody finding comfort, somebody finding comfort when they're hurting. I wanna play a part, I wanna play a part of caring for the widow, sheltering the orphan. It's my desire, Lord, you use me to change somebody else's destiny. I wanna be a part, I wanna be a part of somebody else's story, somebody else's story of redemption. redemption.
You're welcome, Sean.
I wanna be the one to shine the light of Jesus into their darkness. So lead me to that someone I pray. Lord, I wanna give you glory. Somebody else's story. Part of somebody else's story, somebody else's story of redemption. This hope in me was not meant to be contained inside. I've gotta give it away, give it away. This hope in me was not meant to be contained inside. I've gotta give it away, give it away. 'Cause I wanna be a part, I wanna be a part of somebody else's story, somebody else's story of redemption.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for the hearts for Mackenzie. I love everybody. You guys know that. You guys touch my heart when you do the things that you do for. Like I said, anybody on here that wants bracelet or anything like that, the bracelets are $2. They say Justice for Mackenzie and Mackenzie's Army on it. Just hit me up on the side on my messenger and give me your address, and I will make sure you guys get them. Like I said, it's all about my little girl, and that's what matters. So with that, I want to say I love you guys. Thank you very much. And anybody here in Fayette County, it is nasty out there, really bad. Please stay home. Please stay safe. And I love you guys. And they're about to kick me off of here. I got 2 seconds left. So enjoyed it. Thank you guys. 2 days, you know I'm coming back live again with another live feed. I'm going to keep going every 2 days and keep this story going and keep it alive. Thank you guys. Love y'all.